There we go.
All right, welcome back, Cardinals fans. We're gonna go over the second half of the reaction video that we started a week ago. We, for some reason, thought we were gonna get through it. Should have known better. I mean, we typically don't. We had so much nuance and stuff that it takes us a long time just go over like something that could be like a 5 minute video. We'll extend to like a 30 minute to like an hour discussion and whatnot. But anyhow, I knew that we couldn't just leave it incomplete at just the offensive side because that's just one side of the coin. We also need to cover the defensive side. As anybody would know, this team isn't just revolved around its offense as much as like pundits and current like Cardinals fans would want it to be, just on the defensive side, and the defense could just, hey, yeah, as long as we're like in the 15s, we'll be good enough. That would be a good enough team to compete. I don't subscribe to that idea. I think we have a lot of answering to do on the defensive side because we have initially just constantly try to put this together with duct tape. All right, so with that being said, of course, to the Cardinals fans that live in the valley, you guys are enjoying the better weather. Yeah, y'all know that I'm a weather buff here, but I'm gonna go ahead and ask Dylan. Dylan, how's your day been? And how have you been?
It's good. The weather's been great right now. Should be good for another week or so, but then it get hot again.
Yeah, that's what the hopes and stuff. But of course, like the sun came out and it started becoming more humid, and I was like, of course
Yeah,
that's what's gonna happen. So, all right,
that's usually
guys,
how it
let's go ahead
goes.
and yep. Let's go ahead and kick this off with starting the defensive side. We are kind of picked up where we left off. It doesn't matter at this point. It's just a big segment, anyways. And at the back, the back portion of the segment, if you guys have watched the video, yeah, we will not be going over the interview because that is something that I just don't want to be disrespectful about. So we're just going to cover the defensive side. And if we get done early, we might go over some extra film and bonus content, of course. So, all right, so let's go ahead and just get started with the video. Are you ready, Dylan?
Yes, sir. Let's get back into it.
All right, let's do it.
But let's go to the other side of the ball and talk about the defense that Nick Rallis is going to get to work with here this year. We'll start with the defensive line and look at their offseason changes, ask whether they got better, worse, or stayed the same. And honestly, there's some moving pieces, but I think this defensive line at the end of the day should be about the same, with one big wild card there with Walter Nolan in year 2 that we'll talk about. But as far as the losses go, it's Calais Campbell, who still played well at his age, and Dalvin Tomlinson, who was okay. Those guys played about half of their snaps last year. And then a bunch of additions, or a quote-unquote addition, with Walter Nolan, who dealt with really all of the injuries. It felt like last year was slow to get out there. Then he was awesome. And then he got hurt again, what felt like or sounded like it was going to be, I think, a torn ACL that maybe was going to impact this year, but it was not. And he is hopefully going to be ready to go here. And that could be the biggest addition that this team makes this year, maybe outside of Jeremiah Love. But even that, even included that with what the difference a defensive lineman like Walter Nolan can make when he's looking like he looked in flashes last year, that could be a massive addition, as we'll continue to talk about here. But they also bring in Roy Lopez. I'll bring him back, actually. I think he started in Arizona.
I'm going to go ahead and pause it right here just really quick about I'm going to discuss about Roy Lopez. So it's pretty interesting that the two guys that left last year and joined I believe one of them joined the Patriots, the other one, obviously Roy Lopez, joined the Lions. That both of our defensive tackles that we had between him and I forgot what the name of the other individual was. I got a clip saved of him playing the fullback position and taking out like 6 potential like defenders
Talking about
onto like a big game.
Leaky Fotu.
No, it's not Leaky Fotu. It's it starts with this. Starts with a K. It's Chris or Kyrie's Tonga. Kyrie's Tonga.
Yeah, he played for the Patriots. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, they both leave and have themselves pretty good seasons, good enough seasons to get themselves bigger contracts. And obviously, the Cardinals let him go into free agency and signed him right back to the roster because we needed some depth to be added. Was it kind of weird that they go on to other franchises to have a good year and then they come back here and it feels like instead of continuing to have a good year, they will like somehow just regress if like Roy Lopez came back and whatnot, is what I'm saying.
Like Dalvin Thompson. Good his whole career and comes here and sucks.
I think that speaks to like somewhat of like the coaching, because it's kind of it's not like they didn't forget how to play football, but I've watched a lot of like defensive tackle like coaching when it comes to the way that they want them to play and whatnot. There's two different philosophies. There's act and react, and then and react and act, which basically you're either gonna read first and then react to whatever the offense is doing, or you're just gonna go ahead and try to penetrate like gaps and whatnot, because your first job is to try to penetrate gaps, and after that, it's either get the ball carrier or try to take on
Yeah.
somebody on a block and to help free up a defender. It could be that it was different, but like in this philosophy here, I feel like it's more of like react and act, as in like, hey, you hold up, you take on your block head on, and then you react to see what you can do as far as manipulating the running back to either run, do a cutback on that run, or try to free up your linebacker. Something like that is what I'm saying. Like, I don't know. It's like, I don't have confidence in this coaching staff to continuously keep making somebody like Roy Lopez play at the level that he was at last year.
I don't disagree. I mean, I don't think they really even wanted Nick Rallis back. They just didn't have another option. Like, no one, they just didn't have anyone else that wanted really the job. And I mean, maybe Nick Rallis is allowed to call plays more this year and have like more of his own input. Like, we don't really know how that was, but
that's the only thing that I can't answer. I can obviously answer to the type of coverages that were called and how many times he mixed it up. Other than that, like, we don't know if he's like the main guy, if he was really the play caller, if he was just calling from like Jonathan Gannon's.
Gannon was making him call. Yeah, we don't know.
Yeah.
That's like the optimism you want to have as a fan, is like, hopefully this wasn't his defense last year and it was Gannon making him do stuff.
Because I mentioned, as soon as those chains come off, we'll see it for sure. If this was a continuation of last year, then obviously it was Nick Rallis calling the defense and him coaching and taking on the reins. But if it takes a step forward this year, it'd be like, okay, well then, it was Jonathan Gannon's coaching.
Exactly.
Good year as a run defender for Detroit last year. Solid signing there. Caleb Proctor, an athletic, developmental 4th-round pick out of Southeast Louisiana. And then, why not bring in Andrew Billings, who's good when he's healthy, which isn't very often. But a lot of moving pieces with the D-line. I broke that down as neutral, or maybe even hopefully upgraded. I think you can make an argument for, as you start to think about the excitement for Walter Nolan. But then on the edge, they had all their fish to fry and didn't hate this edge room. So really staying the same at edge this offseason. But let's break this group down. It's not a putrid defensive line. It's workable. And, as we've hinted at, like, a lot of upside with Walter Nolan. But right now, they rank as my 26th overall defensive line. They rank 23rd to 28th for pass rush with a C+ grade there. And then even a little bit better for D-line run defense, B- there, 19th to 20th. So it's a workable defense.
That's interesting. I wouldn't have coined this as a really good defensive defensive line. 19th to 20th is a little higher than I would have expected to even give him a B- in that. I don't know if I agree with that.
I don't know if I would either, because Josh Sweat doesn't even play on rundowns. He played like less than 50% of snaps last year. He was pretty much an exclusive passing situation linebacker. And Baron Browning's not very good versus the run either. Like, Zaven Collins is obviously good versus the run, but I don't know if I'd have us that high either. I mean, Roy Lopez is actually pretty good versus the run at the nose tackle. And then obviously I think you're banking on Walter Nolan being good as well. So, and then
Walter Nolan made
this video before Caleb Proctor got hurt, I think.
Yeah, unfortunately, if he was available, but Caleb Proctor would probably, in my opinion, be more of like just run, like, gap shooting penetrator basically. And
he's pretty undersized to have to play all 3 downs. So,
I mean, he would have to be that's the role he would have to take, unless he has the strength of an Aaron Donald at that small of a size. He's not gonna. Exactly. His impact's gonna be small.
Line up front for this defense. I want to start with Walter Nolan. We've already hinted at it, but this is the biggest, and we're spoiling ahead for my superlatives section on this Cardinals deep dive. But this is the biggest wild card for the Cardinals, even above Marvin Harrison Jr., because of the upside. When Walter Nolan got out there last year, it was jaw-dropping. It was, how did this guy fall into the teens? Good. He was wrecking games. He looked like, immediately, honestly, like the best version of what you were hoping for, a Quinnen Williams, Jeffrey Simmons-esque player at his best as he came out of college. This was one of the top recruits in his high school class. He ended up starting what was it? Did he go from, was it Texas A&M to Ole Miss, I think was his path. And he is that disruptive, dude, and he's a two-way player. He's got a motor that never stops, which shows
just not giving up any like room or any like not giving up any yards or any whatever you want to call it, feet, I guess, or inches to this guard holding his block. And go ahead, and there we go.
Is that Tyler? Run that back again. That was
73.
Tyler Booker.
Yeah,
I think that was Tyler Booker. Yeah, but Tyler Booker was amazing last year.
Yeah, there you go. So you got, what was he? I guess he's pulling from the left guard position. Yeah. Okay. No, he's taking that guy head up. Tripping. Tyler Booker just ends up in that same vicinity.
Yeah, my bad. I'm tripping.
But once he attacks, what they teach his guys is open the gate. Once he opens the gate to the outside, and this running back has no choice.
Well. That was a really good anchor.
Yeah, this is a great snap, and this is what we're talking about when we're talking about him versus the run. He's not just a good run, like a good pass rusher, but a good run defender as well. All right, let me go ahead and put the volume back on.
Motor that never stops, which shows up like that, plus his traits alone helped him show up as a run defender last year. The ability for him to get off the ball and just rip through blocks and out leverage defenders and out leverage pass blockers and out athlete pass blockers. He has legit pop and shock in his hands to bull rush you. The foundations are a really high floor player on the field. And then you see different pass rush moves from him. And it's like, dude, if you ever figure it out in terms of stemming moves together, that full pass rush plan, which there's no reason to think it can't for a young player, this could be one of the best defensive linemen in the NFL. I really don't want to undersell his upside and what we saw when he was able to get out on the field in like 4.5 games last year. That's really all it was. And because it was so limited, no one's really talking about it, right? But as excited as I get about what he could be, it is all still just theoretical and needs to be proved. He needs to prove that he can stay on the field, and he needs to prove that he can continue to dominate when he does stay on the field. So there's a lot of reason to be excited here, but we got to see it. And I wanted to start there for that reason. But now I want to actually pivot back out to the edge where the rest of the good players on this defensive line are. And I would say, as far as the edge rushers are concerned, they have a very reasonable room. I'm not going to say.
I wouldn't say that at all. We have one, our best, and I've had this, I've tried to get most of this message out when it comes to Josh Sweat. I'm not 100% sure where we're at when it comes to Josh Sweat. From what I understood, and what was sourced was apparently that Josh Sweat wanted to be traded the moment Jonathan Gannon was fired.
It was like a reaction. Like a reaction to it. I don't think he does, though.
I don't know, because so if his immediate reaction is like, just trade me. And of course you have to come in and calm him down and be like, look, we're not going to trade you because you're too valuable for this team. You're valuable in a sense of like, we have other players that just can't get to the quarterback. We have no other legitimate pass rushers, and you're the best one. Your best pass rusher, albeit had 12 sacks last year, which is great. There is a possibility that a pass rusher can get a lot of sacks and not be a consecutively effective pass rusher in a sense where like you're that dominant. He wasn't that dominant last year. He got to the quarterback on a lot of speed, like a lot of it's most of his sacks came from swipes and whatnot, and I
Yeah.
believe one of them came from bull rush. And the reason why that's important is because if you don't have power in the NFL, you can't set up anything aside from that. So your power is your main threat to opposing offensive linemen that gear them towards dropping anchor sooner in the down. And once they do that, you're able to do stuff like swim techniques. You're able to do side swipe moves. You're able to like do a speed rush and then hit him with power because you have power, or you could just hit him with power, swipe to the outside, and you also can get them so scared that they overset, and then you hit them with the counter move to the inside. So everything is essentially based on somebody's power, and I haven't seen that consecutively from someone like Josh Sweat, which is why his career last year was less than 50 pressures total, and people would make fun
Hmm.
of that. I know one person
He's
in
a
particular.
finesse move. He likes
Yeah,
finesse moves.
he's a finesse. Yeah, I know somebody that laughs at that whole thing of pressures and everything. Pressures are important because if you are a person who has like somewhere between 80 to 90 pressures, you're an elite pass rusher. You're going to get your sacks because it kind of shows you're in the backfield all the time. If you're not getting those sacks, most of the time you're creating pressure so the other people get that sack. And it's all about, I mean, we're talking about a team here. It doesn't matter who gets the sack as long as somebody gets the quarterback down. And if it happens more consistently, then that's great. But if you're somebody who's that dominant and gets to the backfield, you're gonna see double teams. You're gonna see more like more blocks going towards that direction. You're gonna see tight ends lining across the other side of the formation just to wham block you right before the snap is called, so that they can hopefully get you to slow down in that manner, or have the running back line up opposite side of the quarterback so that when he fakes the handoff, he goes and chips and helps the tackle off. They don't do that with Josh Sweat. It's just like, we got you one on one. We're just going to keep our formations going. We're not game planning around
Yeah.
him.
No, I
And
agree. And
and
it
so
also doesn't help that he can't play on early downs. They bring in Baron Browning, who's, I mean, he's okay versus the run. He's not that good though. Like, we don't really have like the whole point last year, like heading into last year, was like, okay, Josh Sweat's that guy, and then Baron Browning and Zaven Collins will just switch snaps on pass and rushing snaps.
sorry about that. My
I
son
know
is
you're
over
good.
here.
No, you're good.
Aside, yeah, and if you're not
Yeah.
constantly available, it just shows how your team has to, how you go into a game plan where you're not available most snaps because you're not important on a down by down basis to have to keep you out on the field. Like, Zaven Collins is not a person who's a great pass rusher, but he can help stop the run, which is why they use him on those early downs, and it's important. That's how you stay well, the offense is not staying on schedule. Essentially, they don't stay ahead of the sticks, because by the time third down comes around and that's the pass rush snap, they're like in 3rd and 7 if you have your run stoppers there. But then you have to rotate him out and then essentially put somebody like Josh Sweat in, because he's the best chance at being able to beat tackles on speed rush
Mm-hmm.
and whatnot, and swipe moves. And it's for good reason. I mean, he has the arm length for it, and he does have the size, so he is using that to his advantage. But that, like, you don't have the power. So if you go this year and without that extra added motivation that I believe he's not going to have by the him kind of being scorned by the team that signed him last year and possibly promised him that, hey, I signed with you guys because Jonathan Gadden's my guy. I like this coaching staff because some of them are from like the Philly like defensive staff and whatnot. And then we had a horrible season like we did, and we fired the head coach, and he thinks it's unfair. He's probably gonna be thinking to himself like, what, like, I don't want that added motivation. I don't want to play for this team anymore. Either he's gonna his down by down effort's gonna be way lower, or he's just gonna revert to what he was. He's an 8 sack guy with like somewhere around 50 pressures. That's who he is.
I agree. I mean, he did get 13. What did he get? 13 last year.
Yeah, he got 12. It's
12.
good.
I mean, what he does is valuable, but it's also like I remember Cam Jordan was talking about it, and he was like kind of referring to Trey Hendrickson when he was playing in New Orleans. And he was like, people always like to talk about the sacks, but like they don't like to talk about how like if you're only good at doing that, then you're not really actually helping the team on a down to down basis. And he was kind of taking shots at Trey Hendrickson there, but yeah, I mean it is true. Like what Josh Sweat does in his own right is valuable, but you could also get a lot of guys that can do what Josh Sweat can do and also play good versus the run.
And here's another thing: when it comes to the high impact pass rushers and whatnot, they show up on third down when it's like third and gotta have it, and the offense is possibly one third down conversion away from extending the time to take a knee or to keep the drive going to an eventual kick or a touchdown. You need those players, those playmakers on defense, and your best player. So far as I understand, he's forced a lot of fumbles, but where is he on those third and important snaps? Where is he at when we need that defined stop? Yes, the Cardinals were losing the majority of the season, and they were already behind before we even got to those very important times. But even then, it's like, hey, we do need to stop the bleeding here. We need to stop. And in those cases, it's like, well, this is what we signed you for, and why isn't there like any upside to having you on the field where it just feels like it's just the same. It's just another snap and like, oh, he got a sack. Good.
Yeah, I agree.
He also went on a 5-game or I believe 4-game streak without having a sack after he got his 11th sack. So that's what I keep pointing out is that the inconsistency right there. Like he should have came out the season with like at least 15 sacks at the way that he was going at the rate.
He started the season off really good. Like that Panther game he played amazing in that Carolina game.
Oh yeah, and that reminds me that was off of a stunt. That first sack, he did force that fumble and scored on it. So it's credit to him on that one.
Say the Cardinals like get me super excited with these edge rushers, or that you're going to get off the bus and you're like afraid to face Josh Sweat, Zaven Collins, and Baron Browning. But when you've got a lot of aspects of your team that you're still working to improve, and you've got a lot of work to do, it's a very workable room. Like Josh Sweat in an ideal situation, like we saw in Philadelphia, would be more of a Robin type of player. He has to be their back.
Exactly. He is like a Robin. And I think that Walter Nolan's going to be our Batman. And he's a defensive lineman.
Sure. Batman, and anytime that's the case, you're almost by default going to be in the bottom like third of defensive lines. Like you want to find that Batman to build the rush around, and Sweat's not that, but he's one of the better Robins in the league. He's one of the best number 2 edge rushers in the league. So much so that I like.
There's the example. Here's a swipe. Yep.
When I'm doing draft comps and stuff, a lot of players get Josh Sweat comps where it's like, he's got a good upside. I don't think he's ever going to be the best guy, but could he be Josh Sweat? Like I end up saying that a lot. And look, he had a really good year for Arizona last year. He's really athletic. He's great with his hands. He's got cross chops and swipes. He's got enough power in there. He's a good run defender. Really nice player, man. I don't have anything negative to say about Josh Sweat other
so he's essentially always trying to set up that cross chop or that swipe technique. Like before he takes off, he's trying to read. Boom, right there.
Yeah.
So this is the first.
I don't know if I agree with he's a good run defender either.
Yeah. I haven't studied too much into his like I would know better, but I'm not I don't think it made that much of a difference him being on the field. That's all I can say.
No, it didn't. But he said he was a good run defender. I don't know if he's a good run defender. He's serviceable in the sense of how Chandler Jones was like a serviceable run defender. Even Chan was a little better in my opinion.
Yeah, not bad enough to take you off the field, but essentially not a person that's like, oh, well, he's definitely gonna help us stop the run.
Yeah, and it's just never the best starting point, like I said. But then opposite of that, you have between two different players, you have a very solid number 2 option between Zaven Collins and Baron Browning, who are very different players. But you can rotate those guys and put them in a position to succeed where you can live with that. I mean, Zaven Collins is, to his credit, one of the better run defending edge rushers in the league. He leans into that assignment as a heavy-handed edge. He used to be a linebacker and a good one, honestly.
Thank you. There we go. Like, I've been waiting for that this entire time because I've watched this. Obviously, I've watched this video before and I've seen exactly the entire list and whatnot. That's why I wanted to react to it, because I already knew and I wanted to say stuff, and that's why I wanted to stream it. One of the biggest miscasts and unfortunately downturns to a career, only because they maybe were thinking to themselves, okay, that's fine, let's pass on Will Anderson. We'll just go ahead and convert Zaven Collins into a pass rusher. Watch, we'll show you how it's done. 6'5", 265 pounds, big MFer. Guy can take on blocks and whatnot. I was like, yeah, but there's a here's the thing. It's not to say that just because he had the size, he knows how to use that size to take on pass rushers and whatnot. And I mean, I got clips for days when it comes to showing off what I'm talking about as far as his linebacker use, and most of it is great because it's 2020 film day. People can go back to and watch to this day on his down by down snaps. But it's an embarrassing miscast, because he was a former first round pick. Obviously, we know firsthand that some people will use him as a hybrid person when he's not. The entire time I'm like, he's not a hybrid. He's never been a hybrid. He was drafted to be a linebacker for the Cardinals. Nobody ever said that he was supposed to play hybrid linebacker position, or he was supposed to be an all around chess piece and whatnot. Go look back at the podcasts that have either the rankings for Zaven Collins or like what he was coming out of college and whatnot. Never played the edge position when he was in college.
Yeah, not at all.
Yeah, he was put on the line, sure, but like that's every linebacker, or used on blitzes. But he was a very movable, like a big guy that could just move. Here's a demonstration right here. Like that burst.
Whew.
So you have him taking off on this burst. He's paying attention to the snap count. He's already taken off right there. And right before anybody can take a count for him.
Already in the backfield. That was great. Great play rec.
And I get it. Linebackers aren't going to do that on down by down basis. But even if they were not doing this on a down by down basis, just imagine a guy 265 pounds running that fast and hitting you. He's not giving up any room.
He's reading the pulling tight end too the whole way. That's how he got a good read step on it.
And of course, Isaiah Simmons is lined up at edge. Of course, he's the one who takes the wham block here. Makes a miss for it. I mean, he did what he should have done, is try to make a miss, but still, because he takes off in great timing. This pulling tight end can't get a hold of him. Look at that guard. The guard is paying attention to him, can't catch up to him in time.
Yeah, that was a great play. That was in 2022.
2022. It's I got clips for days on him. I'm not going to go and go make this a Zaven. I'm not going to make this a Zaven thing, but it's amazing how. Let me see. This is the other clip. No, this is another one. Here's another great play, and then I'll go back to. There we go. All right, let's go. Just chasing him down. He was playing edges here though, but still, his mobility is what open space mobility. Reading the play.
Good play rec again.
Mm-hmm. So he's not going to be a pass rusher. He's always going to be reading person who's just a guy who's going to be smart enough to know where the play is. Oh, shoot. I have to do this a different way. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Gotta open it up like we have been because I guess the audio doesn't work if I don't do it right. Right. Of course, let me know if the audio works. But he's always going to be somebody who's going to be a person chasing players and trying to read what the play is and whatnot. And uh, that's going to be the tackle machine more so than just like the sack machine. I don't know if that makes any sense, but yeah.
No, that makes sense. You're right.
The edge because he's so big for a linebacker and he's strong. Like he can absolutely get off blocks. He's got stack, peek, shed technique, but he totally understands gap discipline and when to peel off blocks and be a playmaker. So like from an early down perspective, you talk about the D-line run defense being inside the top 20 for the Cardinals. He's a big part of that. As a rusher, he doesn't have the classic get off and power and pass rushing bag to be an impactful edge rusher, but he has developed at this. You know, he's been an edge rusher now for 2-3 years, and he's getting better at it. He's getting more crafty. You're seeing those pressure numbers come up. He's not useless as a rusher, kind of like we've seen from Andrew Van Ginkel over the years, where he's gotten a little bit better incrementally. And yeah, he's a reasonable kind of 2B. You want Josh Sweat to be your 2A, Zaven Collins to be your 2B. And I would say, yeah, Baron Browning ideally would be a true rotational kind of flamethrower type. He's got a lot of athleticism. He wins in flashes and with speed off the edge and on blitzes. He's an athletic handful for offensive lines. He also moved from linebacker to the edge. And he's not the run defender that Collins is, but he's practical as a run defender. But I do think with Browning, we haven't quite seen the growth that we've seen from Collins. You know, Browning actually, when he first moved to the edge in Denver, he actually showed off like a spin move and had some pass rush moves. And it was like, man, with his traits, what if he really does just put things together? And what if he should have been on the edge this whole time?
And then the Cardinals traded for him and derailed his career, I'm sure.
Still don't understand why they didn't trade for Zadarius Smith instead of him at that deadline, but
there was a couple of names. Yeah, it was Zadarius Smith. There was another one that was a big name that we were hopeful
like
to
Harold
trade for.
Landry, maybe. I don't even remember.
I think it was Landry, yeah. I don't know. It wasn't like a big name, but still, it's kind of annoying that we came away from that with trading our 6th round pick for Baron Browning. And I really liked Baron Browning with Denver, but I didn't like him being like basically picked up for the Cardinals because I didn't see him being that 10 sack guy with us and whatnot, but whatever.
Yeah.
He's never really gotten any better. He's kind of just been inconsistent, and that's why they rotate him. That's why he's best off as a designated pass rusher, as someone that's not really a starter, but a useful player. Again, it's a very practical group. It's not bad by any sense of the imagination. It's just they don't have that alpha, that Batman. And if Walter Nolan can become that, then all of a sudden, Sweat fills into his rightful role. Collins fills into his, and Browning fills into his. That would be great if that could happen. So, and it's not impossible that does. So if you want to talk about another area of this Cardinals team to hopefully get excited for if you're a Cardinals fan, that would be it. And that's exactly why Walter Nolan is as big of a linchpin, is as important as he is for this Cardinals team, as we broke down there. And then we can shift back to the other starting defensive lineman, interior defensive lineman. Roy Lopez gets brought in here to do exactly what he's going to do for this team, and that is to two-gap and to be a steady run defender. He has come along very nicely. He is a better player than you will remember him as, Cardinals fans, and it's not like he was useless when he got on the field earlier in his career, but he's bounced around and has really physically evolved, mentally evolved. In Detroit last year, they had DJ Reader. They had their first-round pick in Tyleik Williams, and Roy Lopez was the best of the three from a just, stout run defense perspective. and he gets a half decent, like 2-year, $11 million contract to come in here and do that for.
It's actually pretty high praise, especially since he said he is the best between him and DJ Reader. DJ Reader's a
Yeah.
good stalwart.
No,
Kinda
Roy
like a-
Lopez was good last year. He's gonna come in and play the nose tackle, which is, I mean, he was good with us that 2024 year. I feel like he did have a good year, and that's why he went to Detroit. And then now he got a good. What is it? What was it? 2 year, 12 mil or something? 6 mil a year for a nose tackle is pretty good.
Yeah, I just hope that it kind of it continues and stuff, and it doesn't become a situation where he comes with us and suddenly his play drops and whatnot.
Which will probably happen.
It has to be the culture or something like that. It has to be with the culture or something just in the building and whatnot. I'm kind of tired. I want one of these guys to pop off already, and when they do pop off, they get injured.
Yeah, Walter Nolan.
Yeah.
For them. So solid signing, probably going to come off the field on pass rush downs for the most part. He had a couple moments compressing the pocket in Detroit where if it's earlier downs, I don't think he's entirely useless there, but very solid, reasonable signing. No one to get like overly excited about, but I like adding him to the group here. And then it's probably going to be a big rotation of these 5 other names, assuming they keep LJ Collier. We'll see. But yeah, Andrew Billings, if he's healthy, is a very nice number 3 D tackle to have because he is one of these just injury prone durability concerns, but he's a good 2-way player if you can get him healthy and on the field. And that's why he's never been a starter, because teams have gotten smart about this. They're like, well, we can't give him 700 snaps a year. He's going to break. But if we give him 10 to 15 snaps a game and keep him fresh, he can play a nice role for you. So they needed that piece, as most teams could use that piece. So it's another solid signing if he can stay on the field, but even in a limited role, that's no guarantee. Dante Stills is a undersized guy that has stalled out, was like this team's best interior defensive lineman in 2023. But
Dante Stills is very underrated, and there's a reason why people can't stop talking about him or bring up his name. He's a good penetrating defensive tackle.
I like Dante. Yeah, I feel like his best season was his rookie season. No, sorry, my dog's on me. His best season was his rookie season, though. I feel like he's getting the NFL politics treatment in a way where like he is probably better than some of these guys, but since he was a 6th-round pick, he just doesn't play. It's kind of like like what Greg Dortch got. Like he was definitely better than who we had at slot, but he just wasn't playing. Sometimes that's just what it is in the NFL, unfortunately.
Yeah, and it's a shame because there's times where he led our team in sacks, and obviously we're not a high sack team, especially these last 3 or 4 years, but it would have 4.5 sacks as a defensive tackle, and it's like, why don't you guys give him?
Great. That is amazing.
Yeah, he knows how to get to the backfield. I'm guilty of not paying enough attention. Haven't watched like a lot of film on him, mostly because I'm concentrating on other players as well. But I've asked myself the same question. I was like, how come I don't pay more attention to Dante Stills? Like there's something there, and can it be special if you give him more snaps or put him in the right role? I think it can. So hopefully we could keep him in our roster and continuously keep rotating him in.
I mean, he played 48% of snaps last year. He's kind of hovered around the 50 mark his whole career. So yeah, he's not really getting any more opportunities.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, we gotta try to explore that option and stop messing around with like people that we can bring in, like a Billings who is probably going to get injured, because that's all I'm hearing is that he's probably an injury concern. Good when he's out on the field, but like continues to get injured his entire career.
Yeah, like Dante Stills, I didn't even know Dante Stills didn't have a sack last year, and obviously that's not, you can't just judge a player off sacks, but that is surprising a little bit for sure.
Yeah, it is kind of weird, especially since this is his first year. So you're right.
Just kind of leveled out as a undersized athletic piece. He's good for twists and games and 3-4 odd fronts as like a base 4-eye. So he'll probably eat up some snaps and keep doing what he's done. Darius Robinson, it just hasn't worked, right? He's been a bust. That's part of the Paris Johnson trade was like, look, I loved what they did, getting the Texans' future first-round pick, coming back up to get Paris Johnson. It's just pretty crazy that the second piece ended up being so late in the draft because the Texans were so much better than you thought they would be. And then you take Darius Robinson, that was never the most exciting pick to begin with. He's had.
Yeah, we didn't exactly feast the Texans, huh?
Bro, I remember entering that year. It was like the Cardinals may have the top 2 picks in the draft. They may get, what was it? Caleb Williams and Marv was in that class, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
like, it may get Caleb and Marv. It may have number 1 and 2, and the Texans make the playoffs.
Yeah, a certain individual goes and posts in preseason that the Cardinals were going to get the number 1 overall pick thanks to the Texans, or the CJ Stroud was going to give the Cardinals number 1 overall pick in preseason when he throws an interception. I'm like, bro, that's preseason. Get out of here. Like, they're not. There's a reason why you don't take. Yeah. Well, you don't, as a, how would I say, as a rule, you're not exactly supposed to count preseason snaps because they don't tell you the full truth. That's I think that's what I'm trying to get to.
Well, yeah, like, of course.
Like, there's so many people that pop off during preseason and don't end up doing anything during the season because once real football is played and it's taken serious, those players don't show up because they were never that good to begin with. Maybe they were going up against a team's second string, maybe the third string, maybe that team just didn't really care. He was out there. They have their starters, but they're like, let's just get this drive over with. Let's get our first or second drive over with. And now let's go ahead and continue on with the season because we're not trying to get our players hurt. So when somebody pops off during the preseason or somebody does bad during the preseason, we get over, like, we overhype somebody and we exaggerate. Yeah.
Like if Carson Beck has a good fucking preseason game, oh my goodness. We got our guy.
Oh yeah, first game. Given the starts, what are we doing with Jacoby Brissett? Still holding
Johnny
out.
Vrabel fucking coming out. Why'd we give Jacoby the extra money? We don't need it.
We don't need it. Get him out of here. We need to get Carson Beck out there. Did you see he had a 3 touchdown game versus the Browns, third stringers and whatnot. But the Browns actually have a good defense.
Versus the Panthers' 5th team.
Versus the Jets, like practice squad and whatnot. He went ahead and like.
I can't wait for the what is that? Where they practice with the other team, the merge practices.
Oh yeah. Did you see Carson Beck and his footwork? It was so amazing. Look at this. He goes and throws a touchdown to Andrew. Who knows what his name is? Who's a practice star player. Back shoulder pass. He's wide open because he's being defended by Nick Siri something or whatever his second.
He's being defended by the training camp intern.
He's being trained by the guy who's going to sell insurance next year. He's going to be a car salesman. Yeah, did you see how open he got against that player and he delivered the ball on a strike or whatever on the line? Oh my god, I can't.
Wait.
Yeah, it's gonna drive me crazy when I start seeing those chants for like a good play and whatnot. But what's gonna be funny is what happens if he's out there and he has a bad game. How are they gonna spin it? How's the staff? How's the fan base gonna spin it if he goes out there and then he doesn't look like he belongs on the field during preseason? Then it's gonna be
he's a rookie.
Yeah. Oh yeah, got to give him time. He'll develop. It's like. Yeah, I mean, anybody could develop, you're right, but you don't want to send them on a bad trajectory where you throw them out there, they lose their confidence, they get overwhelmed too soon, they don't learn the tricks of the trade when it comes to like managing a football game at the NFL level because it's not college. I don't care about how much experience you have in college. That's college.
The game is completely different. Like the college compared to NFL, it is honestly 2 different games. Like they don't play. The offenses aren't similar. Most of the offenses aren't similar at all. The defenses aren't similar at all. Like it is a very different game.
Well, like, okay, so I got a notification that popped up, and it is like it's. Oh man, I don't have it anymore. I wish I would have had it. It was from Brett Coleman. Um, he posted about. So I guess there's a series. Like I'm not sure if it was on Netflix or where it was at, but it was going over Cam Ward's film study habits, or like I don't know. I
Oh, you're
guess
talking about
no,
the QB thing on Netflix?
I believe so. I got it
I think
right.
that's what you're talking about.
Got it right here. I'll go ahead and share it. Let's see. Okay. All right. So just a heads up, guys. We're probably not gonna get through this video again, but this is adding context, obviously, to what we're talking about. So Brett Coleman, it's just cover three, by the way. It looks scary because of the sim pressure with two coming off each edge, but the coverage is just cover three with four rushing up front. That's true. Cam said he'd never seen the coverage presented that way before, which, yeah, he probably hadn't because, like a movie monster, once you understand the special effect, it becomes less scary. So, of course, here's the picture. It's Cam Ward. You can see his dreads right there. He's, I guess they're playing the Jets, or he's watching another team play the Jets. You have your single high safety middle field close, cornerback on the field side, way off coverage, looking like he's gonna do a bell technique on, or he's already started on his bell technique, just backpedaling it out of there,
Yeah.
facing the quarterback. Same thing with this corner on the field side. Looks like he's gonna zone turn on this when he backpedals into his deep third. And like all these players, obviously bailing, I would imagine, just based on the way that they look like this. There's one defender that looks like he's kind of strafing out of there, and a couple more that are bailing. So they put their guys up front, and now they're bailing, and then they're sending pressure from another area, still sending four. But the whole point was, and I can't obviously
put so
play
much
this,
time into watching tape because
put so much time into watching tape because I didn't know how to. And that's another thing. Like,
Not surprised.
yeah, a lot of these quarterbacks sometimes they don't watch a ton of film when they're in college
They just
and
don't
whatnot.
learn it in college. And they don't learn how to do certain things in college. They don't.
Yeah.
College doesn't care. They just want them to win. As long as they're winning, they don't care.
Yeah, exactly. So of course he's going over what he's guys. If you guys can watch, you guys could go ahead and watch it whenever you guys want. And on Brett Coleman's thing, I'm not sure I can play it here without taking down the stream. But the whole point is that he basically wasn't watching too much film, so he doesn't recognize certain looks when he gets to the NFL. Now, I'm not sure how much of a film buff Carson Beck was, but even then, he, like Cam Ward mentions, coming out of Miami, that he hadn't seen this type of coverage, or like the way that it was like that it was presented.
I don't think it's that Cam Ward doesn't watch film. I just think it's that NFL defenses compared to college defenses are just much more complex. Like, his Cam Ward is a very hard worker. He doesn't come off as a guy who doesn't work hard. So I think it was more of, yeah, it's just a different game. Like, college is literally just a completely different game than the NFL. And if you look at, like, when I'm watching quarterbacks play, like, guys like Drake Lindsley or like the upcoming guys this year, like, they don't go under center. Fernando Mendoza, through 3 years of college, had 5 snaps under center his whole college career. And that doesn't happen in the NFL unless you play in a Cliff Kingsbury system or a Matt Nagy system, maybe. Like, stuff like that doesn't happen. So the game's just completely different. And that's why these quarterbacks kind of come in and most of them struggle, I would say.
Yeah, and that's why even though Cliff Kingsbury gives them that extra college year, after that year they have to evolve and change up, go more pro style under center.
I mean, just look at, like, we've talked about it before, but look at Jay Daniels this year. Like, I know people are going to say he's hurt, but even when he was playing, that offense was horrible. Like, every everything about the offense was predictable. When Jeremy McMichaels or whatever his name was on the field, they were running 85% of the time. Like it was just nothing really. It was just very predictable offense.
Yeah, and there's also the rule changes. These offensive linemen can only give up like I think on a right before the ball gets snapped, they can only go like 1 or 2 yards downfield, whereas in college they can go 5 yards downfield.
Mm-hmm.
Not the ball snap. When the ball is released by the quarterback, they can
The
only
legal man downfield buff area is a lot longer.
way bigger, and the hash marks are bigger in college, like they're wider. I mean, so you have more of a field to work with on a down by down basis, which is why a lot of these college quarterbacks are RPO, like screen machines and whatnot. And then they go to the pros, of course. And then you're like, some of these guys never took a snap under center. It's like, all right, guys, got to put you under center, man. You know how it is.
That's a whole new monster by itself because you're learning new footwork. You're learning how to roll out. You're learning how to like reset your feet and eyes if you do like a PA rollout and you're turning your back to the defense. It is really like a whole new evolution of learning how to play quarterback when you have to do stuff like that.
Absolutely, and you have to read it differently, just like you said. Like you don't get the shotgun vision. You get the under center, turn your head. Then once you're either rolled out or once you hit the back foot on a straight drop back, what happened? What did the defense do? Sometimes they'll change it up on you.
Had a lot of injuries, but when he's played, it's been horrible. He to me feels like the definition of why tweeners can be risky. Like he's not good at edge. He's not good at interior. He has to go against NFL competition. It's like, what does he do well? I do think if this was more of a true like 4-2 or 4-3 style defense where you could ask him to do what he was best at in college was setting a hard edge as a 5-tech. That's not this system, right? They have these other stand-up edge guys are your edge players. They've asked Darius Robinson to be more of an interior D lineman, and he's been miserable at it. So maybe Rallis can recognize that. And even if this team is a base 3-4 structure, you don't have to live in that, right? Like you can switch to a 4-3 odd type of look. You can still use these edge rushers, but then have Darius Robinson stick his hand in the dirt and be more of an edge. That's a starting point for him. And then maybe his confidence can tick up. He can rediscover that swim move. And maybe he could be someone that slides inside next to Walter Nolan as Roy Lopez comes off the field and get after the quarterback. It's year 3 for him. He's a first-round pick. I'm still going to keep my eyes on him, but anything you get from him is house money at this point. He's been a colossal bust, and I'm not optimistic there, but there's still a path, and I still think if you used him more correctly, there's a chance. And then they draft Caleb Proctor.
Just going to add this just really quick, and obviously you can give your 2 cents on this before we move on. Now we got to stay on schedule, obviously, but the what he just said, this type of coaching staff would be like, no, we're not going to do that. We're just going to keep doing the same thing. And it's already derailed Robinson's career this much. I've said this before. He needs to be a 5-tech. You need to not have him go through the tackle and the guard. You need to have him go through the outside of the tackle and see what you have there.
No, I agree. And that's what he did good in college. So, but nothing's going to change. So
we're going to see him. We're going to see him on a 4-point stance in the interior. And I'm like,
4-eye, 4-point stand, 3-tech.
Yeah.
They got it. So they know more than us.
Yeah. What do we know? We're just a couple douchebags talking crap about him. But we're here watching the film just like they are. I get it. We're not coaches. We're not coaches here. But, aren't you a scout, Dylan?
I have like a certification in it, yeah.
You're a certified scout, and I'm a certified douchebag, so I can call him out on shit because I don't care. I'm not trying to work for the organization. Unless they offer me a scouting position, then yeah, I'll go ahead and I'll start carrying water for the organization.
Pick hyper athlete, elite first step coming out of Southeast Louisiana, who did have a very good game, by the way, against LSU as a pass rusher. As a run defender, he got obliterated. What's interesting to me about Proctor is not only is he an uber athletic small schools guy that lived up to, that passed the test when he got a chance against LSU. That's always a good indicator for someone that is fascinating. Because again, in his competition, it's hardly even worth watching his tape against who he's going against at Southeast Louisiana. It's just hardly translatable, especially with, offensive linemen at that level. It's just, I can't explain how bad they are at that level. So you want to see him translate against a team like LSU, even if their O-line's nothing special, but it's at least SEC competition. But anyway, what else is fascinating to me about Proctor is I love the awareness from him and his representation to be like, okay, at your level of comp, you could play 3-tech at 280 pounds and totally get away with it. That's not going to work at the NFL level. And he bulked up to 295. So what version of Caleb Proctor do we get? There's fascinating upside there. And there's definitely a role for him here with Roy Lopez coming off the field. There's so many opportunities to be won as a, pass.
Was so many opportunities, unfortunately.
I know. Who knows? Maybe, I don't know. Maybe he comes back. But torn meniscus, at best, he'll play it the last month of the season at best.
We have bad luck with these high upside defensive players and whatnot. Something always seems to happen to them.
Like BJ Ojolari.
Oh yeah, and then that's not even mentioning BJ. And notice how he didn't even bring up BJ Ojolari in this in these talks. He's been gone for such a long time. That was supposed to be the guy that, one of the best speed rushers in the 2023 draft, justified not obviously drafting a Will Anderson and whatnot. And BJ Ojolari, hey, guess what, guys? We got a value on him. We traded back out of our 32nd overall, no, 33rd overall pick, and we still ended up getting a pass rusher like BJ Ojolari. That's great value, and now we're just going into hoping that he can also develop. But I don't know. There's
a lot of hope. I mean, BJ just barely played last year. They were covering up. He obviously had a setback in his knee injury, and Jonathan Gannon just wouldn't say it, which a lot of people gave him shit for, which rightfully so. Newsflash, ACL injuries don't take 17 months to heal. And then he played the I think he missed the first 4 weeks. I don't know how long he missed. I honestly forgot. But I know he played at the back end of the season. So
yeah, he missed so he was already injured when we had drafted him. I believe he was either coming off an injury or he was injured somewhere around training camp and whatnot. He missed, I believe, 4 games. I'm not 100% sure. And then he played the rest of his 2023 season. He was out entirely right before we got even started with 2024. Yeah.
Camp, yeah. And on a one-on-one versus Jonah Williams of all people. He played 8 games last year.
Yeah. Okay. All right. 8 games. That's a little bit less than half the season. So a year and a half he essentially missed, and we were here wondering if he was even still on the team.
Yeah.
Rush specialist, interior guy.
Oh, yes. Go ahead.
No, you're good. I'm just looking at stuff.
And he might not have to play a whole lot of run defense in year one, especially if Billings can stay healthy. So it is actually, when you really look at the structure of this D-line, there's actually a great opportunity for him to come in and surprise and be a very early day 3 pick. He was the second or third pick in the fourth round on day 3 of the draft. So definitely keeping an eye on him. The up arrow is on him. He could absolutely be an impactful part of this, let's call it, transition season for Arizona. And then LJ Collier, I would just say he's going to scratch and claw for those opportunities we talked about as that pass rush specialist. Darius Robinson and Caleb Proctor need to earn those reps. And if they don't look good, I think LJ Collier can make this team where he's, bust of like Darius Robinson can look at LJ Collier someday and be like, that could be me someday. Like former first round pick, complete bust and a tweener coming out of college. But 8 years into his career, he's scratching and clawing. He's had some decent moments as a pass rusher late in his career here. So if it's a worst case scenario if LJ Collier's playing, but he is a good guy to have there to kind of push Proctor and Robinson, because it's like you got to at least get on the field over LJ Collier. You got to at least find a way to look better than him in practice. It's a good benchmark. So there's your interior D-line depth. And then we have some other edge depth that we didn't talk about. There's a lot of different players here. BJ Ojulari, I'm kind of done projecting much from.
Oh, I stand corrected. He is going to go over him.
There it is.
Another player we revisited in that 2023 draft class. And it's just like, dude, pass rushing traits are so important. Like, he just doesn't have the twitch. He doesn't have the power profile. He was such a technician at LSU, but he just hasn't been very efficient. He just can't overwhelm these NFL elite tackles enough. And the tricks and the gimmicks and the pass rush moves can only get you so far at this level. And he's been hurt. Can he still settle in as like a decent rotational piece? And has he even played, he's had enough moments where he can get some wins, especially if he goes against, lesser athletic, lesser physically gifted tackles. Like, he can play up a little bit more there. As a fourth edge guy, sure, BJ Ojulari is fine. But, for someone that was a top 40 pick or whatever he was, I'm not counting on much projection from him. Jordan Birch was one of my least favorite picks in that entire draft. I just didn't see it with him. And
I agree. I don't know why this constant talk about Jordan Birch continues to go on. You drafted a guy that you already have on the team who's already better than he is. And your thoughts were, look at this big guy who tries to play more of a speed rusher. He's a 6 foot, I believe, 6'5", 270 pounds, somewhere around there.
I think he's a little bigger than that, like 6'2", like 300. Like, he's 295 or something. He's fucking huge.
Yeah, he's pretty huge. And that, like, what the hell? So you play him at edge. You can't play Robinson at edge because he's too big. Robinson's 275 pounds, 6'5". So, and by the way, he's chiseled out like a Roman god. So this dude, you can't put him on edge. But Jordan Birch, who looks like a defensive tackle, like he's about a couple big meals away from becoming like a defensive tackle.
He is.
And you're playing him at edge. And because he had a good preseason. Again, another
guy. I was about to bring that up. He had like 3 sacks in the preseason or something.
Yep. Hey guys, look at him. We got diamond in the rough.
Like Jordan Birch could develop. Like, he has the size, and I think that's why he went in the third round. That's why he even went in the third round. But yeah, he's not very good at anything. Like, he's not horrible at anything, but he's not good at anything. He's not good versus the run. He doesn't have like any pass rush arsenal. He just like kind of bull rushes people. So it's like, how do we get him on the field?
Yeah, like, I understand. Like, if you're gonna try to win with power, that's good at his size. But apparently in college, most of his wins came off of mostly winning on speed rushes.
So the other guys just sucked, is what you're saying.
So they looked at his profile and thought we should get him, and then essentially he shows you, hey guys, like, even though my college tape shows that I'm a speed rusher, I could try to win with power, and he doesn't win with power at his size. It's kind of weird. So then what he does know is like, hey, I'm a speed rusher, so I'm going to attempt that here in the NFL. We're not athletic enough or fast enough to be able to do that.
Not enough bend. Yeah,
the bend. There you go. Bend. You need power. You need twitchiness is what people talk about all the time. That just means how fast you get off the line of scrimmage. Sure, that's very important. Having an elite first step.
Yeah.
and whatnot. But power just is just good old
Pure power is not going to
pure
get you
power.
that unless you're playing nose tackle, and then it could help.
Yeah, exactly.
He had a couple flashes in the preseason last year, and Cardinals fans were tagging me like, "You idiot, he's so good." And then the regular season happened, and he was one of the worst edge players in the league last year. He has the classic like size, length, speed combo that you look for, but he wasn't good at Oregon. He'll turn 25 years old this year in his second season, and he still doesn't really know what he's doing. So I'm just waiting to be wrong about Jordan Birch at this point, but I'm not betting on him personally. And I don't even know how much we see from him if these guys are all healthy. And that's probably it. Eku Leota is kind of a try-hard
skip the rest for sure.
off the edge, but probably not keeping 6 there. So,
all right, let's go ahead and do so. You're right.
We don't need to talk about Elliott Brown.
Let me see if I can find the thing because it's gonna froze on me, of course. Come on, my elite internet here, or so-called internet. Oh yeah, I forgot I got to do this. There we go.
And that's probably it.
You can click the bottom at defensive line and go to the next like little segment. You see that?
Right. Hold on. Trying to get it right at the beginning of the linebackers portion. Right there. I think. Let's see.
Yeah. Jack Gibbons. Yeah.
It didn't work this time. Come on now. Now it's making me look stupid. Come on. Oh.
Let's go to the linebackers here, and it's going to be a pretty short conversation. We had a long conversation about the Dolphins linebacker room. The Dolphins linebackers was like the Cardinals D-line or wide receivers here, a point of fascination from a bad football team. Not so much the case with these Cardinals. I mean, you look at their offseason, not a whole lot to talk about. They say goodbye to Akeem Davis-Gaither, who was kind of whatever as an undersized linebacker for them last year.
Hey, he was our best run defending linebacker I've seen in the last 5 years.
That's not saying much though.
No, it's not. That's true because all of our linebackers, like the potential linebackers that could have been good in that position, you moved them at edge. And so you have a weakness there because if you're a linebacker, it's what I constantly say. If you're at edge, fine, you can defend the run going your direction. But if you're at linebacker, you have the ability and the potential to be able to affect both directions of the run because you're a linebacker. You're supposed to be a free-flowing guy who can stop a running back at the line of scrimmage or at the very least chase him down.
ADG was just not good at all in coverage. That was his main problem.
Yeah, and that's the thing that aside from that, nobody's good in coverage either. We don't have a good coverage linebacker.
Mac Wilson's like really good versus the blitz. He's like okay versus the run. He's kind of like he's a green dot. Like he is like really vital to the defense, I will say, but he's not like elite anywhere. He is an elite blitzing linebacker for sure. But outside of that.
But here's my issue is that like he's not good enough that you have to keep him out there. He's like you can draft or sign somebody as an upgrade to Mac Wilson at this juncture. You can't just be like, oh, hey, we good with Mac Wilson because he's also had injury problems. And that seems to be the case for any high upside linebackers that we sign that people fall in love with or anybody that we draft in the 4th or 5th round. They say, oh, that's our next Mike. That's our next long-term starter. I'm like, they went in those rounds for a reason. You still have to give importance to that position because what is the most common thing that happens on defense in any game?
Oh, sorry. I was looking at something.
You're good.
What'd you say? My bad.
What's the most common thing that happens on defense in every game?
Shit, they get scored on. I don't know what you're looking for here.
The most common thing on a down-by-down basis is a defense's tackles.
Oh, okay, I got you.
And
I know you're asking.
Tackling machines are usually linebackers and sometimes safeties. And the more you limit yards on it, like your average depth of tackle, the lower it is, the better your defense is because you're not giving up so much, and the better of a tackler you are on as a linebacker, the more you limit yardage, especially going up the middle, and plus, in coverage and whatnot. So it's pretty important, even though people would say that's not a non-premium, that's a non-premium position. It's not a premium position because they're not the sack getters or the interception and PBU guys. They are the people who are essentially dirty work guys that don't get love because they think that you could just move somebody off that position and sign somebody else to play him, or you could just draft your next linebacker. He'll take the position. He'll be great at the position, or he'll be good enough, and that's it.
Yeah, I think you're undervaluing Mac Wilson just a little bit, though. Like, he is undersized. He's not that great at anything, but I don't think it's a coincidence that right when he goes out, the defense starts giving up like 35 points a game compared to 24 or whatever it was. Like, I think he's like the James Conner of the defense. Like, he's the leadership guy, the green dot. He is vital in that sense. But like, if you're just looking at him, like if you take his name out and you're just looking at him as a player, he's definitely like, I get what you're saying. Definitely like everything he does, you could find someone to do like better. Besides maybe blitzing, of course.
You could
that's not that valuable.
Yeah, you could upgrade, definitely. It's not somebody that should keep you from like trying to upgrade because
No, for sure.
Like your linebacker set your floor for the defense, and the better your linebacker is, the higher your floor is going to be, which means the rest of the defense can obviously try to build off of that, but they could also be the ones who like drop your defense because if you have bad linebacker play, you're giving up 5 yards a clip on the run. You're giving up a first down to running backs or tight ends whenever you're in one-on-one coverage, and you're not communicating your defense around you to have them know what they need to do on a down by down basis, and you're just holding the defense back at that point.
I know it's underrated, and he's about to get into it, but like the signing of Jack Givens is as much as like I think and we think the defense is going to be bad. I think Jack Givens is going to come in and stop the run really well for like that's going to help them out a lot in the run game because that's kind of what he's there for. He's the thumper. He's the run game thumper. He's a pretty big ass linebacker.
I hope so because right now we drafted Cody Simon and we're hoping that he develops, but like he's going to have to get the snaps in order for him to do that.
He's not going to play over them. No. He won't play over Jack Givens or Mac.
Damn. That's not good then. But, well, I mean, you have to put the best players out there. Wish they would have put Zaven Collins back at linebacker. That's all I'm saying.
I think he's going to be starting for the Colts this year, but kind of whatever. I like bringing in Jack Givens, raises the floor a little bit there. They draft more of a special teamer in Carson Sherrar in the 6th round, but not a whole lot to say in terms of offseason changes there. And then, I don't have a ton of commentary on this room. It's one of the worst linebacker rooms in the league, and I don't think it's controversial to say that. They rank 30th for me for overall linebackers towards the bottom, both run defense and coverage, very abysmal, C- grades across the board. You've got the veteran Mac Wilson, he's a reasonable kind of adequate starter for me. Plays hard. He's strong. He's a good athlete out there. He's kind of week to week in coverage. The tackling consistency has been pretty week to week for him. He's a go-getter. He's got inconsistencies to his game, but he's turned into a nice player. Like, I don't hate Mac Wilson. It's just what you see is what you get there. And it's week to week inconsistency, but some splash plays on top of it. And then it seems they're going to be starting Cody Simon. So another guy that I feel like they're overvaluing a little bit. I think Cody Simon's fine. I would love to be wrong about that if he turns into a quality starter. I thought he was a dime a dozen day 3 linebacker prospect that maybe in a worst case scenario, he ends up being kind of a Band-Aid starter for you. He sees the game the right way. He's got decent size, but there's just really no athletic upside there with him. It's not like he's got crazy playmaking instincts or has given you a lot of reason to be overly excited about him. I think for a rookie, when they asked him to play, he looked about what you expected, where there was ups and downs in the run game. There wasn't much in coverage, and there were a lot of missed tackles in there because he does get out athleted against NFL competition. So I think he's fine as a kind of
And I'm gonna go ahead and add that I made a tweet when it came to like the Cardinals and their tackling and Cody Simon. I didn't add him because this is like halfway through the season, but I believe Cody Simon snuck into that top 5 room. I could be wrong, but I'm sorry, but Mac Wilson was there. And Mac, obviously, we saw Mac Wilson go down. Like,
You're saying top 5 room of what? Like best defensive players on our
no,
team?
worst tacklers.
Oh, I was like, what?
No, worst tacklers. Like, I'm not sure if I still have the tweet here, but I guess it should come up if I type in the name. Okay, there we go. Oh my God. This is why I wanted to go over the defensive side so bad, and this is why there's certain players that I wish we would stop overrating the hell out of them. And like it's just like, oh yeah, this guy talked great about this and blah blah blah. And I'm like, look how bad our tackling is on a down by down basis, or like on not down by down basis, but okay, so the Cardinals missed 129 tackles. I'm not sure what game or what week this was. I think this was like week 9 or week 10. It was almost halfway through the season. And obviously, you have a couple of people that you wish you didn't see there, which is Buda Baker. He missed 14 tackles for the Cardinals. That right there is somewhat of overusage and him coming to storm the alley because if you have if you have a safety that's a bad tackler, your team sucks. But if you have a safety that has to do more to uplift this defense because your linebackers ahead of you suck. So people don't understand when your linebackers suck at tackling, your linebackers suck at coverage. When your linebackers suck and they're just not good at anything in particular, and they're not even like game changers when it comes to like playmaking ability, which at the very least, say what you want to say about Isaiah Simmons, he was a playmaker at the very least and that perspective. And Zayvon Collins also had himself like a couple of good plays, especially that touchdown return, that interception versus the Seahawks where the return read the play was playing edge. Instead of going after the quarterback, he backed off, waited for the ball. So when you have those players, your safety has to come down from the third level, has to read from the third level. He has a lot longer of a time, which is a shorter win, he's got a smaller what is it called again? The error, the margin of error to be able to have to make the play because when you're coming down from that distance, you have to run faster to get there. If you try to pivot midway through your run, you're gonna slip, or you can over pursue, or you can under pursue, which is what's gonna lead him to miss tackles because he can only do so much. If you storm in the alley, he's got to hope that he's gonna hit that guy at the right time and the running back is going to do a cutback on that. It's going to make him miss. But yeah, Baron Browning, horrible. 13 missed tackles. It's horrible. Mac Wilson Sr., he had 12. Akeem Davis Gaither had 11. And Akeem had more snaps than Mac Wilson at this time because I think Mac Wilson, I think I had mentioned in this tweet that he had already been out with injury. And ADG had more snaps at this point, and he has 11. So that's not really particularly good. Garrett Williams and Max Melton, both of them at 10 and 9, horrible like corners when it came to that. And Denzel Burke was getting more of the snaps at this time. This was around the time where they were about to substitute Max Melton for Denzel Burke for Max Melton. Yeah. They were giving him more snaps. Denzel Burke didn't even have the majority of the snaps at outside quarterback. He was already snuck into that room with 6. Cody Simon, Calais Campbell both had 7 each. It's kind of rare. It's kind of weird to see Calais Campbell in that room, but I did see some crazy good. So this is what would happen. He would do some crazy swipe technique at the line of scrimmage and get to the backfield and just hit the running back and not take him down because he got there so fast that both of those guys clashing and him being a big-bodied defensive tackle kind of coming up right, just kind of hit his stomach and then just bounce off and kind of pinball. So he got in the backfield though, and some of these ended up becoming like snaps where the running back was slowed down at the line of scrimmage and somebody else made the tackle or he didn't gain too much. But I'm not gonna say that Calais Campbell was just horrible tackler because he just didn't do it right to give the effort. I just think he got to the backfield so quick that he wasn't expecting to clash with the running back so quick. And guys, look at that on the All 22. Go ahead and look up Calais Campbell on NFL Pro. And you got the percentages here that I had: 38.2% missed tackle, no snaps. Wait, hold on. Actually, I'm not even 100% sure what these. Oh yeah, 38.2 of the missed tackles were by Baron Browning. Garrett Williams had the second most. B. George Ojulari barely having any snaps was on that list. Of course, horrible. Max Melton 23.1. You got 21.9. Keitrell Clark was 20th, but he didn't have too many snaps, which is why he didn't make this list right there. It's still pretty bad, but I he's an undersized cornerback, and you're playing him at outside cornerback. I'm not a big fan of that. Darius Robinson 18.5, Denzel Burke 17.1, Cody Simon 17.1. That's horrible. And do people wonder why we had the worst defense in the league? Well, if you have a bad tackling defense, that's just going to give more yardage for all the amount of times that you're supposed to take him down.
I think I want to be like respectful to Nick Rallis and Jonathan Gannon, but I really think at the end of the year, the team just gave up, man. Like they were not into it at all. Like I know for a fact that after JG did that thing with Amari Gianmercato, where he went on the sideline and, got fined. What he got fined? $100,000 for it or something. Like a lot of people lost respect for JG for doing that, especially like players. Nobody thought that was cool. So I think that was like really the turning point for him in general. And then obviously him not wanting to make staff changes. And we saw Max Melton's reaction when Nick Rallis got rehired or retained. I think a lot of the missed tackling though had to come from like players just weren't into it anymore, and like there's just no way they were that bad. Like I'm sorry, there's no way NFL athletes are that bad at tackling. Like it was that bad at the end of the year. Like when Cody Ford had the 20-yard fucking reception, like that was ridiculous.
Well, it was like high, like it was tackle high and up there, and of course one of the community favorites, and Denzel Burke was one of them, and he was a horrible tackler. I guarantee you, he made the top of that list because I've seen enough of his effort in 2025 to be able to say like, bro, they're just gonna run crack toss his direction, and there you go. Crack toss for Los Angeles Rams running his direction. He just run towards someone like Denzel Burke because he's definitely not going to make the tackle to stop us. And then of course the broadcast view goes and does my boy dirty and God damn it, what was his name again? The guy we just lost to the Cowboys.
Clayton Adams.
No, not
the
safety.
Oh, Jalen Thompson. My bad.
Jalen Thompson goes and does my boy Jalen Thompson dirty and keeps panning over to him on 3 separate occasions as if he's the reason why they scored touchdowns on us. No, it wasn't because of him. They just ran Denzel Burke. I'm gonna save this for the end. That's gonna be a bonus part. That I'm gonna save this, and I have another one. But let's go ahead and continue with the video because we gotta get through this.
Yeah.
Band-Aid starter, replacement level player. That's kind of how I always projected him. And I didn't see much when he had to play there in that rookie season to change my opinion on that. He started 12 games for them last year. He could surprise just as any young player technically could, but I don't see a whole lot of reason to believe that that's going to happen or to say that this to me is just a player that the Cardinals are kind of, miscasting, I suppose, as like the LB, the linebacker of their future. I just don't really see him that way. In fact, I think Jack Gibbons, who they sign, is probably a best case scenario for a Cody Simon. And I think Jack Gibbons is a better player than Cody Simon. And that just kind of comes down to like, do you just want to play the young players and see what happens? Because there's a little bit more of an unknown factor there with Simon compared to Gibbons, who's been in the league for 4 or 5 years and has never really become more than he has. But Gibbons has shown like very high-end play as a run defender specifically. It's fluctuated a little bit because he isn't a great athlete either, and his margin for error is slim, just like Cody Simon's is. But yeah, Gibbons had some really good years as a run defender in Tennessee. He followed Vrabel over to New England and continued to be solid when he played. Not really a coverage defender, not really a blitzer. You know what you're getting there, but again, as depth, that's very good linebacker depth and probably a better player than Simon if they wanted to go with him. Honestly, the two most fascinating players in this room are the backups, the athletic Owen Papo, who's gotten out there like very minimal snaps in his first 3 years here. You know, they've had moments throughout the beginnings of his career where they've just wanted to get his athleticism out there and see what he can do. Had major missed tackle problems in 2024. But last year, this was the first year he didn't miss any tackles in 3 games of playing football. And he did manage a couple pass breakups in those 3 games, just as he did have 2 pass breakups in 2024. It's an undersized linebacker that ran a 4.39 that was always a year away from being a year away from being a year away. When he came out of Auburn, it was always going to be year 3 or year 4 for him. That's why he went in the 5th round. So he's fascinating for that reason. I'm not a huge believer in his game, but if he's really worked,
I think Owen Papo can be a great blitzing linebacker if they allowed him to.
Yeah, I agree. He's also a great special teamer. But I remember he's one of those guys too that had like a great preseason a couple years ago, and all the Cardinals fans loved him. But he's a fucking crazy athlete.
He is a crazy athlete. And I remember the Cardinals took him, and PHNX is over here saying like the next great linebacker.
Oh my god.
Next great starter. We got him in the 5th round. That's what you're supposed to do. And I'm like, he went in the 5th round because Brett Coleman
really
said it best. He's seeking missile with no guidance system.
Yeah, 100%. That's, you honestly couldn't put a better label on Owen.
But like he's right. Like he's a year away from being a year away from being a year away.
Yeah.
I don't know, theoretically got the snaps, and you once again were like, okay, a smaller center of gravity linebacker. I think he's what is he, like 6 foot?
Yeah, he's 6'1". I think maybe.
He's around 6 foot. Yeah,
he's definitely like undersized. He's also, I'm pretty sure he's I don't think he weighs as much as Mac.
I was about to look up because he is intriguing in that manner that he's about, let's see real quick, because I'm trying to gauge how good he could be. Okay, so he's 230 pounds. So
okay, so he is Mac Wilson size.
Yes. So with that speed, 230 pounds, still going to hit like a Mack truck if he meets the running back full on for either a running back picking up the blitzer situation or getting the handoff. I think the winner there is going to be Owen Papo.
Between who? Sorry. Versus Carson?
No. I'm saying like Owen Papo. If if we were to say, screw what we're doing with the linebackers, they all suck. Let's keep Mack Wilson out there because he's the most veteran-ish guy. Let's put Owen Papo across from him. Let's go ahead and just blitz the hell out of Owen Papo.
Okay. I know what you're saying.
Keep Mack Wilson in coverage. Give some snaps to Owen Papo, as in like you're just going to learn out here. Yes, you're going to take your lumps, but get your tackling up. Of course, he hasn't missed a tackle 2025, which is good. Learn how to read defenses. But we're going to blitz the F out of you.
That would be like double mug Mack Wilson, Mack Wilson Owen blitz. Or, I mean, yeah. But like, then at that point, though, then it gets predictable. Like, if Owen's just in the blitz, then it's like,
blitz him from the second level. Then we gain some speed. That's what I always said about Simmons. Like that, they didn't do that enough with Simmons. So do it, Papo. He has 4.39 speed. That means he has a quick get off.
I agree. Yeah.
So 230 pounds coming at you like that fast.
Yeah.
You're not going to get that.
He would have to play. He would have to play like third downs though. Like he wouldn't be able to play versus the run. Like that's why you get Jack Gibbons in there. So he'd be like a third down, which would work. A situational inside linebacker, like that's a guy that you draft in the 6th round.
Or you do have a good build for him. Go line him up at the line of scrimmage, and if like don't make him a designated like outside linebacker, and let's not do this shit again with another linebacker. But also you can put him all over the line of scrimmage and see if he could beat a tackle on a unexpected pass rush move, and just with the speed alone, he could get to the either get a holding call or get to the backfield. I mean, let's not let this guy go to waste. I don't think he's ever gonna be like a Fred Warner type of linebacker, but
No,
you
yeah.
could get some usage off of him.
But we just don't develop players, so it's like
Yeah, that's true.
It is craft at a linebacker position that so often the Owen Papos of the world actually go on in their second contract. There's a very real world where Papo was never really used in Arizona, but some savvy team picks him up and he's actually ready to play finally at 25, 26 years old. But maybe it's this year in Arizona. I don't know. Probably not going to happen, right? But if it was ever going to happen for Owen Papo, who's undeniably extremely athletic, this might be the year. So I'll keep an eye on him if he gets on the field. And then Carson Scherer is kind of where Papo was coming out. Scherer started just 1 year at Iowa, and there really wasn't anything to write home about with him, but he put himself on the map with an incredible workout, and he played really good special teams at Iowa. So he was drafted to cover kicks, to try to block punts, and just be a special teams ace for this team. If anything clicks at linebacker, great. But I do think from a special teams perspective, that was a nice draft pick for where he was taken. But yeah, that's all I've got on these linebackers. My bet is that the starting linebackers of the 2028 Arizona Cardinals are not on this roster, both of them, in my opinion. That's just how I view this room.
I agree. What do you think?
I don't know. I feel like if Matt comes out and has a good year, he's a James Conner. People like him. He's a green dot. He's a veteran leader. I think if I do agree one of them's probably not on here. Like I don't think Cody Simon or Jack Gibbons are going to start next or 2 years. But I don't know. What is let me look real quick. Let me look at the 2027 free agent linebackers.
My big issue with him is like just the missed tackles.
It's inconsistency. Coverage. Yeah, but like,
just like you said,
let's look at the list real quick. Patrick Queen's not good. Frankie Louvu, that would be solid, but he's gonna be 32. Jordan Brooks is gonna be. Yeah, I would too. Jordan Brooks is gonna be 31, but he's like a guy that really is only good versus the run. But then you get to like
some good solid years.
No, Jordan Brooks is good. Don't get me, he's an all-pro. But like he's not very good versus the pass at all. Like you're not I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what he'd ask for. He'll be 31. Blake Cashman will be 32.
Blake Cashman. Yep. There you go. There's next linebacker. Blake Cashman is good.
Yeah, I like Blake Cashman's good. Yeah, he is good. I mean, who knows if Minnesota I think it matters. But like outside of that though, then you get to like Christian Ellis, who's solid. Dre Greenlaw, he'll be 31 coming off injuries. Who knows how he does this year. And then Mac Wilson's right there. And then you got guys like Ivan Pace, who didn't really play a lot last year. He got benched because of Blake Cashman. But then that's really it. Like that, like outside of the guys I named, which like Arizona's gonna have a shit ton of money and they should spend. And if you overpay for a guy like Patrick Queen, fine, or a guy like Frankie Louvu, but like I think if you get like a guy like Frankie Louvu or Blake Cashman, those still aren't like really long-term options. Mac Wilson's he'll be 30 next year. I don't know. I think they'll re-sign Mac Wilson though. At least I don't think it's smart to go into free agency in the draft without a starting linebacker. And Mac Wilson's probably not going to want that much money. And he's a veteran. I don't know. I would like them to re-sign Mac, but I wouldn't be totally against it either. But
I got a couple clips to show you. And then yes, they're gonna be because you said like, look, man, I think the ADG hate is unfair. I think, and I'll show you why. because I think this is where it started. And I've always asked, like, I've asked people, like, hey, where did you guys start hating ADG? And of course, he starts getting the hate from the unnamed podcast. And
I think the Colts game was when it really started turning up.
watch, I'll show you the clip that I believe it started at. So let's go ahead and put this. Watching the broadcast view first because, hold on, let me put this on the other. There we go. All right, cool. So, all right.
Yeah, the
So-
Colts game.
This is a snap that I believe the hate started. All right, so you're able to see it even from the broadcast view, what's going on here. But this is where I think, like, snap goes off. TJ Warren's going upfield by himself. Oh, look at that! That's a miscommunication or whatever. The ADG,
Wait,
not doing his
run it
job.
back one more time. Sorry.
Like, you're able to see, like, the linebackers and
Those
the play.
shifting. I mean, what are they playing? I can't tell what they're playing from the broadcast view. That's the only problem.
I'll go ahead and put the all 22 right now. It's gonna go into that clip.
Oh,
here's
okay.
the all
Yeah.
22.
Well, I can't. Like, it's hard to judge. Where's
Well,
ADG? It's at the bottom.
This is man coverage right here. Look. So essentially, what you
he's right
have
there.
here,
Yeah, I got him.
you have TJ Warren 44. He's gonna run like a seam wheel. So
Yeah.
he's gonna run
He,
upfield
like,
to that.
he stems it into the open space. I saw.
Takes off the So he's gonna take off to the boundary, and you have this wide receiver running a post, somewhat like a post go route, whatever you want to call it. He's stemming it towards the middle of the field. The reason why they're trying to run this is because they're trying to pick off anybody trying to defend TJ Warren, whether it's going to be the safety, it's going to be down rotating, maybe. Does not likely it's going to be one of these linebackers. When the play takes, when the play happens, ADG is going to take the flat, because what's going to happen is this running back's going to go and run towards the flat.
Yeah.
No one's defending him, so that's going to be his guy. Mac Wilson is not.
This is cover one. That's what it looks like.
Mm-hmm. They shift over, of course. A push call. That's your guy, DG. He's even obviously pushing the hand out. He doesn't really so much get picked, but the route does do its job. He's not paying attention. Boom. TJ Warren.
Okay, wait, what? Hold on. What? So, hold on. Run it back again. I'm so confused on how this happened, because we have the two deep. So it's cover two man, because you got the two deep safeties, and then Mac. I don't know what Mac thought there. That's not on ADG though.
So whether it was even Mac's responsibility, sometimes you're supposed to have the awareness to know that if you have a tight end, somebody playing as an attached tight end who could take off at any time, and you're making the push call for the running back, because if the running back takes off to the flat towards the
he's a
the
clear
field
out.
side,
That's all he's doing.
Yeah. So
Mac's on him right here, and then they shift over. So he's really supposed to. So I think, is that Buddha? Buddha's dropping deep. I wish you could see my cursor. Sorry. Yeah, I don't know. That's just a miscommunication then, right? That's not ADG though. ADG's getting the running back. Mac's supposed to be guarding Warren, I would assume.
Yeah.
But I think he thinks, is that JT? JT took him, but then you're just on an island like that. Then you're just shifting into cover one base. I think that's what Mac thought.
Yeah, so defenses sometimes get overloaded this way. That's why they shift the running back towards the direction of where the tight end is, because they know once they shift them, these linebackers' assignments start changing, and it could be a situation where they both take the running back by accident, or one of them takes the running back and the other linebacker's just in the hole, like not really like, I don't have an assignment. Whereas where, like, you just saw Warren just take off up the field, and that's what's dangerous. He sheds. He essentially what is it called again? He basically just picks and sheds and then runs his route. So like giving up a 23-yarder that easily is horrid. Like that's your guy. All right, let me show you the broadcast. This is like the very next pass play, I believe. Over here. Oh, look at this. You got Warren and ADG lined up, man coverage. Sorry, that's not
This was
Warren.
the play. This was the play where ADG got lit up on. I remember. Like
He
on
didn't get lit
Twitter.
up. You'll see.
Oh, never mind. It was something similar like that where they allowed a touchdown though in this game, I think.
I was
That was a
wrong.
good
I'm
play
over
by
here
him.
thinking it's 44 right here, and I was all ADG.
That's
right
Michael
here.
Pittman.
That's crazy. Because they're both Will Johnson and ADG are both 6'2".
Okay.
So this is supposed to pick
That's
off.
good.
So this route's supposed to help pick off and open him on the same.
Inside.
Yeah, on the same seam wheel route.
And Daniel Jones just holding the safety with his eyes.
Oh.
Yeah. That was a good breakout. I thought in this game though it was like a similar play like that where they actually scored on it. Maybe I'm just misremembering.
Who knows? But I that was like the very next play, and I'm like, why is there so much hatred as if like this dude was like the worst thing that's ever, like, some people still treat it as like he's the worst player. Thank God we moved off of him. I'm like, he wasn't that bad. Actually, I think he did some pretty good things, but whatever.
Moving on.
Cardinals fans will hate hearing that. Maybe you agree with me. But let's go to this secondary, which is a fascinating room. As you look at their offseason, really not a lot to break down here. Cornerback, surprisingly to me, they didn't really address at all. No changes there. And then at safety, not a ton going on here either. They do say goodbye to a long-term starter, Jalen Thompson, but they have had a replacement plan in place for a long time, or at least multiple years, in Dadrian Taylor-Demerson. So it's a loss to lose Jalen Thompson, but they've been preparing for this. And they did bring in Andrew Wingard. So I said slightly downgraded at safety, but certainly not the biggest concern for this team, especially relatively speaking with some of the other concerns that they do have. But that doesn't mean that they're set at secondary, where I have them ranked 25th overall for the secondary, and they definitely get the wild card icon with this group. You have, question marks at all 5 spots, but upside at 4 out of 5, I will say. It's not all bad with this secondary, but there's a lot of different moving pieces and question marks here. Let's start at cornerback. Will Johnson, you have a lot of reason to be optimistic that he can be kind of a bona fide CB1, but there's stuff, right? Like there's the injury questions with him. Someone that most people expected to go in the top 10 to 15 picks of the draft, they get him at the end of the second round because of this big scare with his knees. And then in his rookie season, he misses about a third of his games. And it's unclear just how healthy he was down the stretch, because he started really strong. And honestly, as the season went on, he was much more beatable. We didn't see unstoppable CB1 type of
God.
I remember that play and it blowing up and be like, Will Johnson arrived. How the hell did he go in the second round?
My God, that hit.
That was awesome.
That was a shot of the week contender for the Bootleg Football podcast.
And they were like, poor Chris Olave comes back off concussion from last year and immediately
gets lit up.
How healthy he was down the stretch.
I felt that one.
He started really strong, and honestly, as the season went on, he was much more beatable. We didn't see unstoppable CB1 type of tape. This isn't quite like Walter Nolan, where at least when he was out there on the field, there was really no question on what you were seeing. with Will Johnson, it was much more up and down. Now we got to see more of him, which is good. And I am very optimistic if he can stay healthy, which is like a giant if, right? Like you were able to get him where you got him
real quick
for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
I think what he's saying is a little too much, because Will Johnson at the start of the season was good. But the turning point was the final play of that Dallas game where who was it? Denzel Burke dove into his knee and he got hurt and missed like 3 weeks or 2 weeks. You remember
I'm
that?
not 100% sure, but there was that dirty play that happened.
Look, I don't know if you could pull it up, but pull up that Denzel Burke interception versus Dallas to end the game.
Oh, okay. I already got that queued up actually because I want
Okay,
to
you
go
do?
over that.
Yeah. Well, that's the play Will Johnson got hurt, and after that play, it was like that was really the downfall of his season. Was the inconsistencies really started was after that game, and then like the Rams game where Puka was welcome to the NFL, Will Johnson, and just torching his ass. Okay, yeah. Oh wait, no, this one isn't it.
This is the interception. Hold on.
I thought it was on the other side of the field, like I thought it flipped fields.
I have to put this on this side. There we go, so I can watch it and see myself. Okay, so this is right there.
Yeah, that's where. Okay, I was wrong. Sorry, but that's where he got hurt. That's where I forgot what the injury was, but he got hurt on that play. If you roll it back again.
I think there was two different plays. There was one where it happened closer to the end zone or whatever, and player just continuously kept blocking and just.
I don't know if I remember that. But I remember this. I remember this specifically where he got hurt because he didn't get up. He didn't get up right away, but I forgot how it happened. I think he just bumped knees. Oh no, yeah, he got tabletopped pretty much.
And as another point of emphasis on this play, the reason why I was queuing this one up is because when we're talking about the interceptions, we got to talk about how. It was like first guy to get 3 interceptions in a year since Patrick Peterson. This is a 4th down Hail Mary.
Well, a lot of people don't understand is that interceptions are luck. Like they are really like not every interception's luck. Like that Buddha interception versus Jacksonville, that was all Buddha Baker. That's not luck. But most interceptions are luck. Most interceptions are the quarterback making a bad throw and you're in the area. That's pretty much what it is. Like that, like Exhibit A. Like just because you don't get interceptions doesn't mean you're not a good corner. Like, and people don't really have that mindset, unfortunately. Like you need to be a turnover guy or you're not that good.
I'm gonna go ahead and see if I could find that Will Johnson play because I'm telling you there was another play that was shared, and he was like, "Is this how y'all gonna get down or something like that?" He's basically calling out the week was it?
I think I remember it, but I don't. Like if I see it, I'll remember it, but I don't.
It was towards the end of
off the top of my head.
Yeah, towards the end of the game. Let me see. Week 8, I believe. Nope, week 9. Also, by the way, that Packers game, like he gave up on one. It was horrendous. I couldn't stand the fact that he gave up on right before halftime. Remember how the Packers got enough yardage to kick a field goal?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was horrendous effort. Maybe I'll pull it up sometime. I don't know if I want to look for it right now, but no, it's not it. I gotta look for it on. They were in their own red zone. Essentially, they were trying to defend the Cowboys from getting in. I'll see if I can get that situation here, but starts to go. Nope, not that. Score down, quarter. Nope. Let's see. Location. No. I don't think I'm gonna find it, but essentially, like, there was a a guy that like after the play just like knocked down Will Johnson or pushed him out of bounds or something like that. And it was like that was just dirty.
I know what you're talking about. I remember. I know what you're talking
We're
about.
not gonna find it. Oh well, it's fine. We'll go ahead and if it ever comes up again, we'll see if anybody obviously would know. Just let us know. But I don't think we're finding that play. I think it would be easier just looking through it on that Twitter thing.
And he ended up getting hurt. So I really do hope he can stay healthy, because when he is out there, like I've said, I think he can be a bona fide number one corner. And if that happens this year, that's definitely going to help this team rank better than the 25th secondary in the league. Really at his best, great zone eyes, incredibly quick feet. One of these corners that is excellent at finding the football, high pointing the ball, disrupting passes, good ball skills. I think he's physical against the run. He loves to come downfield and hit and like jump routes. Like there's so much to like from him, especially in a zone heavy defense like this. Maybe not the best overall long speed, but in a more off zone style defense like this, there's a lot to like there. So it's a big year too for Will Johnson, mostly just to prove he can stay healthy. But there were some games down the stretch where you saw him be beatable. So the player on the field needs to prove that he's a stud as well. But I like him as CB1. Unfortunately, the rest of this is a mess, and really the reason this secondary ranks so low. Garrett Williams, really good football player. However, he tore his Achilles late last season and is heading into a contract year. Ultimate question mark here in terms of, number one, when does he play? And number two, is he the same guy when he does play? There's just no way to know. What I can tell you is who Garrett Williams is when he's healthy. And it is one of the more instinctive slot defenders in the league, one of the more versatile slot defenders in the league. He's not like a lot of these big thumping, like bonus run defender types, like a Cooper DeJean or a Derwin James or, a lot of those types. He's more corner than he is big safety. So you're going to trade some run defense for coverage. But that coverage is really nice, man. He's got range. He's got great ball skills. He's really good in this zone-heavy defense, moving all over the field, reading the quarterback's eyes. I love Garrett Williams when he's healthy, and he might be the best player in this secondary if he's healthy. But we don't.
Sorry, but I have to disagree.
I disagree. I disagree too.
He's a horrible man coverage corner.
Yeah.
Even though you are in the slot, you're more expected to be off the line of scrimmage. Sure, maybe sometimes you'll be asked, but they asked him to play a lot of outside boundary cornerback, and he was exposed. And how many let me look at the numbers, because I don't know if he is just not aware, because he was looking at a lot of 2024 film, or possibly
he wasn't good. Like I love entering last year, JW Garrett Williams was a bona fide top 5 nickel corner in football. And then last year happened, and he was bad. He was horrible versus man coverage. He couldn't tackle anybody. Like he is a much better zone. He is a zone safety in a sense. Like there's really based off last year, he's like a zone safety that can play like the middle of the field. Like that's all he really did well last year. He was not good last year. And then the torn Achilles is whatever. I remember Johnny went on some podcast, of course, and was saying that Garrett Williams isn't going to play football this year, which was just a lie. Like I don't know how he got that information, because torn Achilles. Well, I think Garrett Williams ruptured his Achilles, which is worse because that's when it splits in two pretty much. But he's gonna play this year. He'll probably play. He could honestly play week 1, but we'll see how that goes. But last year, he was not very good. But I mean, he's better than anything we got. But last year, it was. I mean, yeah, it wasn't good when he was playing.
I'll go ahead and go over just this example one time, because the reason why this guy got so much praise and so much love to begin with, let's be frank here, it was because of PFF. There was I'm not 100% sure if this was on the It's called the Rise Up. No, not Rise Up. Locked On Cardinals podcast, or if it was on PFF, I think not PFF. Sorry, if it was on PHNX, I've always tried to look for it because I'm like, there's a good thing to cite when it comes to like Garrett Williams and the beginning of like the I think it is PHNX that had him like they had him at the very forefront. They were like, hey, rising star and whatnot. These are the same guys that said this guy's a rising star, and by their own metrics, look at the numbers. He only goes 73, 77.
Wait, did they say he's a rising star entering this year, or was this last year?
This was last year. No, this was 2023, and all 2024 they were like, oh, Garrett Williams, cornerback. Bless you. This is our best cornerback and whatnot. And this is what people don't understand about like the position when it comes to the apex position. So his coverage, like you can see it on screen. If not, he only goes over 70 like twice last year.
I don't care about. I'm gonna be honest. I don't care about PFF. I don't. The advanced data is good. Like all that stuff to the right of that's good to look at, but the grades are whatever to me. Like I don't pay attention to it at all, really.
But these are the guys who put him up there.
I know. I know what you're saying, but yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and put that off to the side. Even because I don't agree with these either. Like even though he had the positive grades in 2024 that like
2024 he was good. Like I think his 2024 film was amazing. Like he was a top 5 nickel in football. Obviously he wasn't as bad versus man coverage as he was last year. Last year it was really bad, but he's always not been very good versus the run. Like yeah, look at his. I mean.
Well, if you're in the apex, though, my thing is, if you're in the apex, you need to be part of the run fit. So
100%. If you're playing, he's playing big nickel. Like technically, he's not a big nickel, but he's playing the position.
Yep, and for the modern defenses, your nickel is not only a hard position to get down because you're either playing the third linebacker on the second level, or you're going to be the safety that's going to bail to your deep half or whatever on certain downs, and you're expected to be the guy that's going to trigger down on a screenplay because you're most likely off coverage when you're in the apex position. So when they're trying to throw a screen, you're the guy expected to just shoot down. Cornerback on that side of the field is going to hold his block. The number 2 receiver is either going to come up and to stop you from being able to get to the receiver who's getting the ball, or the running back, or whatever it is on that side of the field. You're the guy expected to make the play to make that stop. That's not a thing that he was doing consistently wise, nor did I ever see him in the backfield in that manner. I think what happens with Garrett Williams is that when they're making these grades and they're trying to see what kind of coverage and what kind of defense they're in, I think he was just in the right spot more time than not. And they were just going by like, oh, he knows exactly where he's supposed to be. But like, where were the big splash plays, or what was the whole like I guess you can say he in zone coverage was doing great when it came to like being able to be in the right coverage system, or like in the right place. I mean, to stop a quarterback from throwing the ball because he's technically locked down. But his man coverage numbers, when I would look at between zone and man coverage, even these guys knew he wasn't good at that. And I was like, he's not a man coverage cornerback.
No, he's not. He's a cloud. He's like a cloud hook zone cornerback. Like he has good ball instincts, good IQ. He's not a man coverage corner though. He can like he's like he's like a I'm trying to think. He's like a I don't really know a comparison. I'm trying to think of a comparison for him. Like he's low key kind of like Kevin Byard in a way. Like Kevin Byard's really good at playing one. He's elite at one thing, and that's playing zone safety. And that's what Garrett Williams is really good at. He's good at playing zone safety, like being the third safety on the field pretty much. That's all he's really good at doing is playing zone coverage. Like he's not a good man coverage. He's not good versus the run. I just think last year was like a really big opener to that though. Like I don't think in 2024 he was as bad as man coverage as he was this year. Like this year he was dealing with injuries and stuff obviously, but this year it was pretty brutal for him. So we'll see we'll see how he does this year, but yeah, I don't think he's our best. I don't know how people keep saying he's our best like cornerback. I think Will Johnson's still our best cornerback, even though he was inconsistent. But our best defensive back is going to be Budda Baker, no matter what.
He's going to be our all around like best like defensive back there, because another thing that's unfortunate about Budda Baker is he has to constantly do like the dirty work that he shouldn't be doing because our linebackers they're not good, or they're not like.
I was talking to someone on Twitter, of course, about it. It's like someone was like, Budda Baker sucks at playing man coverage versus tight ends. It's like Budda Baker's 5'10", like 5'10", weighs 40, 50 less pounds than some of these tight ends. Like that's not on Budda. That's on the defensive scheme putting him in that position not to succeed. Like you can't ask Budda Baker, who's 5'10", 195, 200 or 205 pounds, whatever he is, to play man coverage versus a tight end. Like he's gonna just get boxed out, and that's just what it is. Like there's nothing he can do about it.
It's like I mentioned, like you're asking him to do more from that third level position when you shouldn't be asking him to do that, because your best guy coming down to defend the run shouldn't be your safety coming from like 15 yards deep.
And this isn't a knock on Budda. This is like a knock on the coach is not really putting him in a position to succeed is my thing. Or just not having the personnel to do so. But like Budda being able to play the run at elite level is awesome. Like every team wants that in a safety. This is not Budda's bad at this or whatever. Like this is not a negative to Budda at all. This is like you won't. There is some weird part of the fan base that for some reason hates Budda Baker. Like I don't know why, but he's pretty incredible at almost everything. Like his coverage isn't amazing, but he's also not really a coverage safety. He's much more of a run stopping safety, downhill safety that can also play coverage and is good at playing like deep safety or a cloud zone safety. He's not really a man coverage guy.
I'm trying to look at like in 100%. He's never his constant issue is that he's not good in man coverage. We've seen Budda get burned right by that, but again, he's your safety coming from the third level. Like he's never really had that great ability. I would say that that ability got away from him probably in this 6th or 7th year in his career, because he did have good snaps. Like I think that 2019 season, he was really good one-on-one coverage on George Kittle in that Halloween game. That's put him on the map actually. Yeah. But
I remember.
Okay, so like we're talking about a safety here. We're talking about a guy who's kind of overworking himself. I'm gonna show.
I mean, to have that expectation of a guy, especially in this league, and this is not a knock on Budda, but a guy that's 5'10", how much does Budda weigh? Like I just gotta look. Is it 195?
198 or something, or maybe barely touching 200.
Let me just look real quick just to make sure. 195, yeah, 5'10", 195. Like like especially in this league, dude, where guys like Kyle Hamilton are 6'2", 235. Like it is a big ask to ask Budda Baker to play man coverage on any tight end, especially George Kittle. And if he does it and he does good, that's amazing. But you can't expect that consistently, in my opinion. Like I don't even know how a safety that at that stature could play man coverage consistently versus tight ends like that. Like he shouldn't be asked to do that.
Bro, they had Budda Baker one-on-one on Christian Watson last year, and it was for a touchdown, and they were complaining about it. And I'm like, what are you fucking talking about? Christian Watson has 4.3 speed at 6'5".
Yeah, it's like this isn't a knock on. I want to make it clear. It's not a knock on Budda. It's just coaches have to put their players in positions to succeed. And if the player is put in a position not to succeed and they don't succeed, that's not on the player. You're asking them to do something that is not in their like it's not realistic for that player. Like so it doesn't make sense. It's like asking Chandler Jones to guard Raheem Mostert on a Texas route.
Yeah,
Joseph.
Yeah, exactly. It's always going to end up negatively. And then the player gets shit instead of the coach. Here's the interception that people were talking. By the way, I can't look up the numbers, but I believe Garrett Williams, I think in 2020, last year, I think he like gave up like 5 to 6 touchdowns. I believe. I got to go look at the to actually chart it, but nothing's telling me. Wait, I guess something could tell me, I guess, but I'm not 100% sure. Maybe I could filter it here, but I'm not gonna. But here's the interception that people are like, "Oh, Garrett has it. You know, he has the credible ball skills here." They're completely missing the fact that the reason why this interception happened was because Calais Campbell. And then we'll see it from the end zone angle. You'll see how just by him putting his hand up and slowing the trajectory of that ball and changing it is enough for him to be able to like to be able to change the trajectory of the pass. All right, right here. Obviously, you see him put
He got
both
a
his hands
fingertip
up.
on it.
Even though it's a little bit, boom, right there.
Yeah, that's why that would have been a touchdown.
That's what I kept trying to argue with people. I'm like, Garrett Williams is overrated. It's like, bro, he got himself an interception and whatnot. He got himself an interception because if you look, if you throw it on schedule and it's fast,
That's a touchdown.
think about moving. Yeah, think about moving targets. They're going, and if you slow down the ball, it's gonna be thrown behind them. It's pretty obvious, and the trajectory changed. That's the only reason why he got the interception.
T-Law's holding Buddha. Yeah. I think, okay, we didn't touch on this, but losing Calais Campbell is going to be pretty big for this defense line as well. And I know, like, he's still a top 5 defensive tackle at 39 years old, and the Ravens are going to have a great. What do you think? You don't agree?
Oh no! Oh boy.
Oh, okay.
The fact that we lost him, it like kind of pisses me off so much. But I'm like, oh boy, like the freaking Ravens got themselves they got him back, and they were like, oh, look at him.
Oh my god. Well, the thing is, the funny part is, dude, entering last year, he's like, this is my last year. Like, I'm done after this year. And then we were horrible because, like, nobody really expected us to be that bad. And now he's like, I got to come back another year.
Bro, I'm telling you, the snaps are amazing by Calais. A 30, what is he, 39 years old? 30?
Yeah,
I don't know, dude.
Double teams. I mean, he's not like he's one of those dudes that wins pass rush reps by just being bigger. Like he's just bigger. Like he just finds a way because he's bigger. And that's like, I mean, I ain't like that the Titans drafted this guy, but that's what they want, like Keldrick Folk to be out of Auburn, like a Calais Campbell. Like no, Calais Campbell doesn't have a pass rush bag. He's kind of just big. He kind of just like that's how he gets sacks is he's big. But he is. I mean, fuck the pass rushing. He is easily a top 5 defense tackle versus the run. Like he's a 2-gap by himself. Like he just takes up so much space. Like they're gonna miss him a lot. So
yeah, big time. I was really hoping that we could convince him to come back for another year. Like, come on, bro, come back, man. We need you. And we lost him. God damn it.
I don't know that he not for this team, man. Like that's kind of where we're at. He's got a lot of boxes to check before he can get out there. Achilles injuries for defensive backs. It's really rough, man. Like athleticism and quick twitch is so important at any defense.
What you need at the apex position, you need a lot of quick twitch.
It's a back spot. So counting on, like I put him up there on the graphic and you see the C grade for the secondary and you see Garrett Williams there and it's like, well, that doesn't really make sense. This is a better secondary than that. And I agree with you. But he very well might not be there. Like that's kind of the reality of where we're at. And I also put him up there on the graphic because there is no clear next guy here. We know Garrett Williams is like 99% likelihood not going to be available to start the season. Like probably going to start the season on the PUP list and then we'll see what happens. It's a complete question mark, like who the nickel defender is going to be for this team. It could be any combination of players. It could be a situation where Budda Baker is the nickel and Andrew Wingard steps in at safety. We could see Star Thomas, who's also coming off of, I think, a torn ACL last year. I like Star Thomas. I even put the eye emojis on him because I'm curious to see if he gets this opportunity, if they like him, because he showed some pretty good flashes in 2024 and then had opportunities to get a starting job last year and just got hurt. But yeah, he's scrappy. He's got good ball skills. I think he has potential to be sneaky there.
What Star Thomas is he talking about?
You know what?
What?
I want to answer. I want to answer his question. He said, "Who can come in and play the nickel?" Why not try Elijah Jones at nickel? Why not? I know he's not big. He's not big in weight. He is like skinny, but he can play man coverage very well. He's very aggressive. Like, why not just throw him? Like that one game, his whole career, he's played one game. That one game he played was incredible versus the Rams. He was the best defender on the field that game.
He
Why
showed that
not?
he showed that he can unlock his hips, T-step, and make himself get back into play. And people, I don't know if they know what T-stepping is. Just basically planting your foot and like not losing your, not losing like not basically not falling or tripping. Like you're
Yeah.
putting you're planting your foot in a way where you're not gonna lose or slip or like do whatever. And it's just a technique type of thing because what you need to do is explode off that T-step because when wide receivers run, what is it, like a comeback route or an out route and whatnot on you, that's how they're going to defeat you. They're going to defeat you by running it to the outside. And if you T-step too slow or you slip or you just can't do it because you're not good with your technique, then you're just going to give up like easy 15 yards down the field. And it pretty much pisses me off that like I'm a big Keitrell Clark person. I've said that so many times. And when we drafted him, I was expecting for him to be our cornerback at slot. And the reason why is because he is physical. He does like to come down. You have seen him actually screen bust, which is why I call him a screen buster. He gets physical, wanting to tackle and everything, but they just don't want. They just keep playing on outside cornerback position. He's undersized there. He keeps getting beat by corners who are 6 foot, 6'1" on these fade route throws, and then they get mad at him for doing that and go ahead and bench him for it. I'm like,
I don't know.
too goddamn short.
I think if Garrett Williams misses the start of the season, I think they should try. I want Elijah Jones to play. Like I really do. I think I just think you should just try him at the nickel, dude. If he can't get on the field at outside corner because of Denzel Burke and Will Johnson, then you should try. You got to try somebody. I know Control Collect plays the nickel, but like if you want more physicality or you just want a guy with more size, like yeah, Elijah Jones is 4 inches taller, but I think you should like somebody. I think you should give out. I think Elijah Jones just deserves the chance. He's a 3rd round pick and has barely gotten an opportunity. So, I mean, we'll see.
Look at the way that this is dead to rights here. Usually, when you're in bail technique on a cover 3 or whatever it is, or your quarters or whatever,
yeah,
you're dead to rights when this guy runs an out route because he's attacking his blind spot.
This is Elijah Jones. Yeah.
Yep. Flips.
That's a bad ball, but I mean, he made a great play.
I think this is he wasn't expecting it. I think he was like, this rookie out here, let's go. Or like this.
It's a clear out. It's not like this is a hard throw for Stafford, like opposite hash deep out. Like that's the hardest throw to make.
And that's all you can ask for your cornerback to be able to do is at least get your hand up there and get it. Because look, he's flipping.
It's beautiful technique. Yeah,
boom.
It was awesome.
I think it's unfortunate for Elijah Jones that he didn't come down with the interception because I feel like if he came down with the interception there, people would get excited. The fan base gets excited by interceptions no matter what. It's like, oh, where did this guy come from? But because it wasn't an interception, it was just a play on the ball.
Will Johnson didn't play in this game, right? I'm not.
Look how quick he's able to.
Awesome.
These are routes.
Who's to say he can't start over Denzel Burke? Denzel Burke's fine, and like he did have a good rookie season, but like he's not like he didn't show like he was very inconsistent. Very inconsistent.
Oh, bro. Denzel Burke was a freaking horrible tackler. I don't want him out of the
and
field
Elijah, like I get the Starling Thomas hype from his name's Marcus, right? Because Starling Thomas is a good tackler in my opinion. I mean, but tackling, I mean, I know we just talked about we were the worst tackling team ever, but tackling for a cornerback is a plus more than it's not. They don't get paid to tackle; they get paid to play coverage because Malcolm Butler had 120 tackles in Tennessee and barely got a job here and then retired.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what happened with that situation. It pisses me off. This is a deep boom. I mean, that's not his defender, but he's willing to like trigger down on that. He knows from here. Oh,
He's playing quarters. That's just that's just Matthew Stafford, man. Pretty much a whole shot right in the hole
yeah,
of
it
the
is a whole
defense.
right here.
Was that cover 3?
100%. Let's go ahead and look back.
It's usually
here.
what it beats. What a seam like that would be. Yeah, cover 3.
Yeah, seam. Yeah, cover 3.
Yeah, it's a good throw. Like it is what it is.
But it's like he's a willing guy. He's a willing tackler. He's not trying to like.
I think he should get an opportunity. He had an amazing game. He had like 3 pass deflections that game. Like he was pretty much all over the place.
Let me look at this one real quick because I want to see. This is what Denzel Burke is what I was going to cover because every touchdown was coming towards his direction because it's not just cornerback is not just about like, hey, I just got to cover. It's about identifying the run and knowing where it's going to go.
Yeah. I mean, he's not even trying. Respectfully, not even trying.
Where's he at? He's up here, and then you have Elijah Jones down here. Bail. Okay. Yeah, this is just this wasn't even running his direction, so it doesn't really matter. This clip right here is kind of like a waste. It's kind of a throwaway because it was at the end of the season anyway, and just like you said, I don't fully subscribe that they gave up, but I think they gave up at some point.
Keaton Crawford had some decent moments down the stretch last year as a 7th round pick out of Nevada. He's got potential to either be a nickel or, again, like Buddha could be the nickel. Buddha has, like, going back to his origins, was a nickel corner. Like I would say any combination of
because there's not enough film and not good development on this team.
Exactly.
The people that you are choosing to develop and put out there are, one, either injured, or 2, the people behind them or under them, because you threw away their development period. I don't understand how Elijah Jones didn't get a start period when our top cornerbacks were injured, and I get Max Melton was healthy. Like, no, he was supposed to miss, but he came out anyway. But why play your corners injured and not give Elijah Jones any shots? What the hell was that all about? Here you go, Elijah. Go play the second half of the last game of the season. What a slap in the face.
I know. So a 3rd round pick as well.
I always said it. He must have pissed somebody off. He did something. He
was hurt. He was hurt his rookie year, right? Like something. Mm-hmm. He missed this whole rookie season due to injury.
Yeah, he was hurt. But then you go into like preseason, you see some snaps, and I saw some positive snaps out of him this past season, and I knew he wasn't going to crack the starter. I was like, he's probably going to get cut, just like Keitrell Clark. They show out kind of in preseason, remain on the roster, and like maybe Keitrell will get some snaps. I hope so. He looked really good on some games coming out, so much so that even PHNX, who hates Keitrell Clark, is talking positive about him on some snaps and whatnot. Hey, he's a baller here and there. It's because he knows how to get to the backfield, which is why I wanted him to play the slot. And then Elijah Jones is a perfect outside cornerback because he's not the biggest guy, but he has the size at 6'2". We need size on the outside. Quit drafting these 5'10", 195, 200-pound cornerbacks.
I agree.
Probably Star Thomas, Keaton Crawford, or Andrew Wingard are your best bets to be
Andrew
the quote-unquote starters until Garrett Williams can get back out there.
I do feel like they're going to put Buddha in the nickel. That's what it looks like. Because didn't they move Sean Murphy Bunting, who was playing safety in OTAs? He wasn't even playing corner.
Not 100% sure, but the whole – this is another thing that pisses me off. Sean Murphy Bunting was such a – like – he was such a thorn on the side. A bunch of Cardinals fans, because we gave him that contract, he played outside, and I was like, he's not an outside cornerback. The guy is a nickel. And now they're deciding after 4 years of injury, where we're like thinking we're gonna move off of him. They retain him, and now he's supposed to be the guy that they're thinking he's gonna play the nickel. But I mean, maybe I wouldn't be surprised if they're
Who
like,
knows? I mean, when is Garrett Williams going to come back? Because, like, people look at the Achilles injuries and think it's a year long. Like, these Achilles injuries are not long anymore. There's so much good science on it, but I understand if he ruptured it. But, I mean, I guess we'll see when training camp starts if he's practicing or not, because I don't think he was doing OTAs.
nah, I don't know, dude. I did the issue with the Achilles is also like you lose a lot of that athleticism when it comes to your twitchiness, and you have to defend two-way goes. But then again, he was already bad at that defending man coverage. So I mean,
yeah,
probably.
I'll read what Mike LaFleur said real quick. Williams made excellent progress avoiding an initial October-November return and is positioning himself to return for training camp. So it looks like he'll be playing.
Okay. Damn, really? That's
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know, but I don't know. We didn't. I wish we had developed him at the outside, but whatever.
I do want to give him like just for some pauses for Garrett Williams last season. I do want to give him a little bit of slack because he did get hurt and he tore his meniscus in training camp or OTAs or something. So like the year was just riddled of injuries. But I mean, if he got back to 2024, Garrett Williams and was playing better, like obviously the man coverage was still not good, but he was still like really good in zone. Like I would still re-sign him. Like I wouldn't be against it if he got back to that form of playing good nickel zone and just being a ball hawk.
We could have had Cooper DeJean. That's our issue. I'll be honest with you. That's one of the reasons why I don't like him. Aside from Keitrell Clark not getting his position that he should have been playing to begin with, and I mean, like, just like the fact that people make the argument you can't get Garrett Williams because you can't get Cooper DeJean because we already have Garrett Williams. I'm like, Cooper DeJean is a playmaker. There's a reason why they won the Super Bowl, and a lot of it is because of their defense too. Let's not stay here and pretend like the Eagles' defense was complete garbage. I'm gonna go ahead and look up, but let's go ahead and keep going with this video.
But all complete question marks, right? Other than Wingard, who we kind of know who he is, but there's just not a lot of upside there with Wingard coming off a really down year last year in Jacksonville. So you can kind of start to see where this begins to become a bit of a mess. Now, I think we know who their locked and loaded like CB2 is going to be. Locked, maybe not loaded. I mean, Denzel Burke kind of surfaced as the most reliable piece for them in the sense of like, you kind of knew what you were getting. He's very beatable. He's not a great athlete. He falls to the 5th round for a reason. He's just not the twitchiest, fastest, most physical guy. He actually really struggled to finish tackles and get involved as a run defender. I think Denzel Burke has a very nice floor as a backup cornerback in the NFL and might do that for an extended period of time. But he's in a position where he's kind of your highest floor cornerback right now, like even above Will Johnson because of the injury stuff. And that's a bad place to be. I think you're praying that like Max Melton can click because Melton has the upside. He's had some good games in the past. But our guest here, we're getting closer to that guest interview. We got a lot of good insight here from Johnny about, Max Melton kind of getting benched, not being on the good side of Jonathan Gannon. A lot of interesting stuff with him, and he doesn't defend the run. So I don't think either Burke or Melton really could play the slot for this team. Like, I guess I didn't mention this possibility, but maybe Will Johnson could play the slot, and you go with Melton and Burke as your outside corners. There are a lot of different combinations that you could go with until Garrett Williams hopefully gets back. None of them are really ideal.
No, they're not.
But yeah, I think Burke is locked as CB2 on the outside. And then you got some other names in there, like Kytrell Clark, kind of is what he is, undersized, off zone corner who's had some moments, but he's going to be kind of vying for a roster spot. You got another injury question here in Sean Murphy Bunting, where if he could get back to his prime this year, that'd be phenomenal. I don't think anybody's really betting on that when Murphy Bunting has been bad for a couple years here. He got hurt, I think, in a non-football injury, and like I think he's probably a long shot to make this team. Elijah Jones had character red flags coming out and has basically been nowhere to be found on this Cardinals team. He's got physical upside. I would love it if he kind of settled in and showed something. But I mean, really, like you got Sar Thomas coming off the ACL, Murphy Bunting and Elijah Jones and everybody else. It's like maybe make the team. So the cornerback room is in flux, to put it nicely. I would say this is a hurricane like of randomness and unpredictability. And that's where this cornerback room has been for multiple years, where it feels like on a week-to-week basis, we hardly know who's starting at cornerback for the Cardinals. I don't know that that really changes this year. Hopefully it does. Like, God, it would feel good to just come out of this season on a prayer. And it's like, you know, at least Will Johnson and Garrett Williams like got healthy, stayed healthy, and, you know, finished strong, and you give Garrett Williams an extension. At least you're looking at that like, okay, we at least know we just need one more corner, right? Or something like that. That might be a successful outcome for this secondary. And even that is hard to count on with all the medical questions here. But the safety room is a little bit more clear cut. Like Budda Baker turns 31 this year. Definitely looked like he was slowing down. Budda's always been, and I have to be kind of sensitive with this because he's a fan favorite, and I love Budda Baker. Like, if you could just have 5 Budda Bakers in your secondary, you might be, I don't want to say the best defense in the league, but you would probably be the most annoying defense in the league because this dude plays with his hair on fire. He flies.
I agree. You would be really, really annoying. Budda Baker can like.
I don't agree that he's slowing down though. I don't agree there. I think he looked at the age and said he's slowing down, but he doesn't play like he's slowing down at all.
No, he just has too much on his plate. This defense and this coaching staff is putting way too much on him. Again, you have good linebackers. You could take a lot off of Budda Baker's play and have him play his natural role. But again, if he has a responsibility of having to storm the alley from the third level because your linebackers up front and your defensive tackles, most of your linebackers can't make a goddamn tackle to stop the run, then you're just asking for trouble when it comes to your safety.
No, I agree.
Eyes to the ball. He's super competitive. He's a great dude. But he has always been a little bit overrated as a coverage defender. He just never really finds his way to the ball. And last year,
I don't know if anybody was overrating him with that though.
No.
If it's people, it's probably like Cardinal fans like talking great about him and everything because he's a great Cardinal. He's a very lovable guy. A lot of us are in that position where we're like, don't talk bad about Budda because Buddha's that respected and whatnot. So like when you say something negative about him, it's like, oh, you're just being a fucking douchebag, or you're just trying to be Mr. Like rage baiter and whatnot. But the truth of the matter is, the guy was never really like a great coverage like dude. Like as far as like man's coverage is concerned, I don't think anybody really said that.
I think there's a part, again, I mentioned it, I think there's a part of the fan base that doesn't like Budda Baker for some reason. Like, I don't know. It's like you put him in the Adrian Wilson conversation and people freak out. It's like,
I mean, he's physical like Adrian Wilson. So
I know, like Budda Baker's a Ring of Honor lock. Like he will 100% be in the Ring of Honor when he's done. Whenever that is.
100%. I hope so too.
Here we saw him.
They put Carson Palmer in there, brother.
Much more. So it could have just been a case of train wreck season, had some bad games, and gave up more in coverage than we're used to seeing with Budda. It could also be like time's ticking, man. Like he's on the wrong side of 30 now and regressing, which would definitely not be great, but it's going to happen at some point. So he actually gets the yellow arrow for me and is a bit of a wild card in the sense of like, okay, what we saw last year, was it a random bad season on a bad team, or are you physically regressing? Probably physical regression, but regression isn't always linear. I like to point that out, where we could actually see a bounce back year for Budda Baker. And then you have Dadrian Taylor-Demerson, who I'm excited about. I think he's probably, at least in terms of clarity and not having injury concerns and just like seamless transition with him in the same system. Like, and he did miss a couple games last year, but I don't think there's injury concerns with him necessarily like these other guys. But he's looked good, like as the developing third safety here, a ton of speed, instincts. He is cut from the same cloth that Jalen Thompson was and Budda Baker is. Like, I think when they drafted him, I was like, his range of outcomes is probably somewhere around Jalen Thompson to Budda Baker. Like, saying someone has Budda Baker upside is pretty damn high praise for a mid-round draft pick, but it was so clear. It was like, he's that type. Like, this dude plays with that same energy. He has similar speed coming downhill to like Jalen Thompson. And he certainly has been very solid to good in a kind of multitude of different roles. And I think, especially with the defense staying the same coordinator, there's a lot of reason to have hope that Dadrian Taylor-Demerson will at least be something like what Jalen Thompson was for them. And that's great.
I mean, that is great. We all have our hopes about Dadrian Taylor-Demerson, that he's gonna at least try to take that ball hawk role that Jalen Thompson had.
Mm-hmm. I think I think he is like a carbon copy of Budda Baker, but a little better in coverage and not as great versus the run. He's much more of a ball hawk.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Like, not great against, not a storm the alley type of like safety and whatnot, but somebody that you want to hopefully keep in coverage more often than not have him take on that full Budda Baker role. But he does like to hit.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good number 2 safety, like full stop. Then the rest of the safety depth. Mentioned Andrew Wingard, veteran signing. They needed some more quote unquote proven depth. He had a bad year in coverage for Jacksonville last year and saw a diminished role, but he does love to come downhill. You could play him as a box safety. You could play him as a third safety. There's usefulness for Andrew Wingard as a Band-Aid. Ideally, Keaton Crawford can kind of edge him out. I mean, Crawford had a lot of traits coming out of Nevada and played, he showed some good flashes, I think, late last season. You're not counting on too much from Crawford. It's probably just like play special teams and be a decent backup would be like a great outcome for a 7th round pick. But there's upside, I think, in this player, just being an athletic small school guy that fell through the cracks a little bit. But there's a chance, call it 10% chance, that he's your long-term Budda Baker replacement, just as Taylor-Demerson was your long-term, safety replacement there too. Crawford also kind of in that same mold of loves to hit and he's fast and there's stuff to like there. So I'm interested in him. And then you got kind of undrafted types scrapping beyond that with Joey Blunt and Wydett Williams. Yeah, this secondary is the definition of a wild card. There's actual upside here. There is. If guys can get and stay healthy, if Budda has a bounce back year. I'm not the biggest Max Melton fan. There's technical upside there. But I think a best case scenario is you walk out of this season with 4 out of 5 pieces.
I mean, same thing. Like, I don't know why we can't just admit that we drafted that guy out of desperation, because we moved back expecting that there was going to be a cornerback for us to draft in the 40s, that Monty Austin Ford was going to pull another, BJ Ojulari. We moved back from top of the second round. We moved back to the 40s, still got value at the pick because we still ended up with BJ Ojulari. When you're an outside linebacker, there you go. Who cares about? Well, I understand that guy's probably going to be a bust anyway. And then you move back, and before the Cardinals get to pick, you get one person after another getting drafted. You got Cooper DeJean, you had Kool-Aid McKinstry, and then you had Kamari Lassiter.
Yeah.
in a row. We got our guy, Max Melton. We
The
wanted
guy that locked down Marvin Harrison Jr. in college.
Yep. There we go. We got him. That's the guy we always wanted. This is bullshit. I remember when that pick was being made, and like Brett Coleman, I like to watch his draft streams. It was like way too early, and I was like, I agree. Like, so you basically got another Marco Wilson, hyper athletic cornerbacks who are 5'10" and like
Yeah.
borderline on 195 pounds. People are just like having high upsides about him because he had a good game, PFF wise, like in 2024, but couldn't stay on the field consistently because couldn't beat that starter. Like at that point, it was starting Thomas who was starting. It was Sean Murphy Bunting who were just locking down the roles, which is why I was happy
Mhm.
they both got injured because then we were able to let these other corners who I think have higher ceilings, higher upsides, get those positions, those roles. And then of course Garrett Williams goes out too. And I'm like, hey, maybe we'll finally start playing these players where they're supposed to be and see what we can get. No, like he had his chance. Max Melton was out there. He got benched, and you
Yeah,
can't
he
say
got
he got
benched.
benched. He didn't get benched because he screwed somebody's wife. He got benched because of his play. So
Yeah.
sorry, Max. I don't have the highest up.
You want to go over what he says about the record and stuff?
Pieces that
yeah.
you feel really good about, and this feels like a top half of the league secondary. Worst case is nobody stays healthy. Buddha continues to regress, and this secondary sucks. But like that is absolutely on the table for this unit. It's a hurricane of possibilities with this secondary, which is probably more terrifying than exciting, I would say. But there's you're telling me there's a chance, right? All right, so this did come out as the lowest ranked second defense for me as we summarize this side of the ball. Clearly, there's upside. There's undeniable upside here. They came out as my 31st pass defense, 29th run defense, but you need to start hitting some green lights because you keep stalling out at red lights with this defense, with injuries and guys that you've invested in not working out, whether it's Darius Robinson, Max Melton. It looks like they've found some hits in Will Johnson and Walter Nolan from last year's draft, but there's medical concerns there, right? So you gotta get better injury luck. You gotta find a way to get these guys healthy. And then we can start to have some more fun conversations about this defense. But this is kind of like the Rogue One quote of like rebellions are built on hope. This defense is built on hope right now, not built on evidence that this can work. So it'll be a fun unit to see how things progress this year. But yeah, ranked pretty low for me. But let's talk some special teams before we start to get to the sort of team summary portion of this video, and then get to that interview with Johnny, which again, you're not going to.
Right,
Devin Duvernay will be the returner, which is good. That's really it. That's all you got to know.
Yeah, we don't need to go over this. I don't know if we're going to get those.
They're swapping out returners.
I'm not 100% sure. Let me see if I could. Team summary. Okay, prediction. There we go.
Non-quarterback here. Had a couple comments about that. Like, why wouldn't you pick?
We'll just go through this because
if Jacoby doesn't play
before we get off, because
team,
of course we're running pretty high and we're getting pretty late. Before we get off, I want to go over a little bit of clips. So we'll just go over here really quick. He's basically putting us at over and under. The Vegas odds are 4.5 wins. Vision winner.
Yeah, whatever.
I don't know what the hell this means. Oh, these are the odds. My bad.
I think the win ceiling's too high, to be honest. 8? No.
You never know, bro. Maybe.
That's a part of it.
If everything goes okay, bro. If like literally everything goes right.
And then he's like 3 wins. I think I'm sorry for cutting that part off, but I think he's adding that Jacoby might not start because he really wants them to start.
To like diving deep into this thing, which probably makes for better. Go watch on you. Checked him out. 31st overall for our preseason power rankings. A little bit better on offense than on defense. 25th on offense, 32nd on defense, 24th on special teams. And I don't know that there's going to be a whole lot of pushback there with the Cardinals. A lot of people were like, they're either going to be 32 or 31. So as far as controversial rankings go, I don't think this one's going to be much of a surprise. But as we aspects of this team, I think when you talk about weaponry.
All right, so we got strength, weaponry, running back.
Yep.
Wild cards, Walter Nolan. Yep. Jacoby holdout. That's one of his.
Secondary coaching staff. I agree.
Yep.
Coaching. I mean, how can you put the coaching culture as weakness, but then also have wild cards, young coaching staff? That doesn't make sense to me.
He doesn't have high upside. He doesn't have a high. I don't know. He probably just doesn't believe Michael LaFleur could be a leader of men. I guess I don't know.
I think he's more referring to the coaching it with Nathaniel Hackett and Nick Rallis more than.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, because sorry, Marcus. I don't take that personal. I think you do think that Michael LaFleur is not the best coach or best decision, but it was the best one we could get. But if it is going to be down to bad coaching or bad culture, it would be probably from Nick Rallis and Nathaniel Hackett. So you're right about that. So this right here, look at this weaknesses: QB, O-line, D-line, linebacker, secondary, coaching.
I'm not getting with the O-line as a weakness though. I don't think it's bad. I think it's fine. I think everything else is fine. Like weakness, secondary. Yeah, I think the O-line should just be neutral. Like it may be a wild card. It may be really good. What if Chase Basantis is really good, and then you have four good or quality starters, and then just Elijah Wilkinson that's bad.
Yeah, there you go. And D-line, I don't think he was just up talking how like with Walter Nolan at the position. I mean, it could be a neutral. It all depends on, I guess, health on that one. Linebackers, I agree, they're bad.
Yeah.
Secondary
is a wild card though, because there's just a shit ton of young players there as well, and then you got Buddha, who's good.
They shuffle them good. I mean, if they do that, then yeah.
And running back, legitimate strengths for the Cardinals.
All right,
let's
go with the weaknesses because I want to know what he's talking about with the coaching and culture.
Coaching, yeah.
If this thing would load up the proper way and stop freezing on us, because we gotta, bro. It's 9:00. We gotta go.
My computer's gonna die soon.
Hurry up, stupid ass. Oh, never mind. Now
you went too far.
I went too far. God damn it.
Have some good moments, like maybe you beat the Giants or Detroit.
Okay, let's see.
Maybe not these first few where the quarterbacks aren't that great. Okay, every single team's MVP is the quarterback. Like that. It just doesn't make for good content. So the non-quarterback MVP is going to be Trey McBride for me on the Arizona Cardinals.
Yep,
he's the best player on this team. He's in especially with what I'm expecting with 13 personnel this year. I absolutely think we continue to be excited about Trey McBride. Maybe even walk out of this season like, yep, that's definitely tight end one. Like you're already kind of saying that, but maybe he really breaks through. Maybe he even ends up a purple-coated elite graded player for me by the end of the year, which I don't do for a lot of guys that viewers of this series have seen. Biggest wild card, I hinted at this earlier and really broke it down, but Walter Nolan.
Yeah.
I said it earlier.
I actually guessed on that one.
Sets the ceiling of this team.
I don't know any of these either, so I forgot.
But. Yeah, me too.
So much hinges on what he can be this year. One of the bigger wild cards in the league, non-quarterback, honestly. Breakout off.
It's going to be obviously Love.
Yeah, Love or Marv.
I did.
Yeah,
it may be Marv, and then Love will be best rookie, and then
I'd say Marvin Harrison. I'm a believer. I'm gonna stake my claim that Marvin Harrison.
I hope so.
Is closer to what we were hoping he would be, especially if they can get Jacoby back. If Jacoby's not back, I guess I'd probably change this to like Paris Johnson becomes like a Pro Bowler, like maybe, but
hopefully,
if Jacoby's here, I think we get the Marv we want to see. Breakout defense. I am gonna bet on
Wait,
Walter
wait.
Nolan. I am a
Damn it.
believer. Health
Oh,
is
never mind.
big
It's the
with-
same
with
player
him, but
anyway.
I would have
I'm a
said
believer
DTR,
in
to be
Walter
honest.
Nolan being a
So.
breakout
DTR. Okay.
defensive stud for them.
Or sorry, DTD.
DTD.
My bad.
Oh,
Oops.
the quarterback.
My bad, not DTR.
I did think about Jack.
Best rookie. Who do you think is
Jeremiah
going to
Love.
be? Yeah.
Jack Rabbit at safety for them. Just a little shout out there. Best rookie, I mean, Jeremiah Love. No analysis needed on that one. That one's pretty obvious, especially considering I'm
Fantasy, Trey McBride, I think.
Shane McBride
a little bit
or
lower on
Love.
Chase
Or Michael Wilson.
Nah, there's no way it's gonna be Mike.
All right. Trey McBride then.
Santos and his immediate impact. I think he's more of a developmental guy that could struggle a little bit earlier. And then fantasy MVP, I want to actually focus on, instead of like, yeah, this is going to be the most productive player. And I think I did that picking Devon Achane for the Dolphins. I actually want this to be more of a like something you can apply to your fantasy football analysis and be like the guy that kind of exceeds his fantasy draft position. Like, okay, great. Yeah, Devon Achane's going to be awesome. But from a fantasy MVP, like those are your league winner types. That's more of where I want to start focusing with this award. And I would have gone with Kevin Coleman Jr. For the Dolphins if I went with that approach. But moving forward, that's what I'm going to focus on here. And I'm actually going to put Marvin Harrison Jr. I think people are selling his stock a little bit. I don't know.
All right. Well, I guess he chose Marv. So, all right. Well, I mean, I hope so.
Let's go to let's go to this right here. I was gonna say okay.
The culture.
The culture. Yeah. We do this first.
Let's see
how to do that, and that's absolutely an area as well that shows up in that middle category with secondary manageable offseason heading into 2020. Linebackers, maybe a CB2. Like we can definitely start to get there. Let's take a look at their schedule and
no, he doesn't go over it.
Discussed.
He doesn't go over it, so he's just kind of shows a quick glance. So basically,
let's do the predictions real quick, though. Let's do that real quick. We'll do our ceiling, floor, and then prediction.
Because
you mean for us?
Yeah, we'll do. Let's just do it. Well, I mean, I'm sure we'll have another show before the season starts, but we can do it real quick. See if we change.
All right. So, what do you think? Looking at these games,
I think the floor is 3 wins.
Okay.
I think the ceiling. I think the ceiling's probably 6, and I think we're gonna win 5.
My floor is gonna be 3, and my ceiling is gonna be 7.
7. Okay.
Yeah, I think we're gonna.
What's your prediction?
My prediction is gonna be 4 wins.
4.
Yeah.
Arch Manning, welcome to Arizona.
I hope so. Because I think
that'd be awesome.
I think we're gonna FAFO, and we're gonna throw Carson Beck, because we're gonna be like, hey, the fan base really wants him, and I'm like, okay, fine, go ahead, do me a favor, go ahead and trade Jacoby Brissett, and then send him off, because apparently he's not gonna get like offers anywhere else because he wants starter pay. Go ahead and put Carson Beck in there. You guys want Carson Beck? Fine, put him out there. And then
oh, my bad. You go. Sorry, my bad.
And then what's going to happen is he's going to feel overwhelmed, and he's going to have to have that added pressure because so many people want him out there. And some of his traits from college, like that him calling out his wide receiver and like just like throwing the ball up for grabs on a few like throws and whatnot, and that arm strength not coming back to form. So it's going to be a couple of late balls and whatnot. It's going to get to him. And then there's a possibility where we have a season where either Carson Beck is just going to be out there, be like, bro, just finish the job, or it's going to be Gardner Minshew.
I mean, I don't know when, like looking at the schedule, like when would Jacoby Carson Beck take over? Like, when do you think it would happen? Like, I really do. Like, people are saying, oh, week 12, Washington. Like, oh, that's a great game or like week 15 versus the Jets. I think it'll be before that. But, like, looking at this, if they're losing games, nobody's going to want Jacoby starting no matter how good he's playing. Like once they get to like if they get to like 1-5, 1-6, no one's gonna want Jacoby playing. Like no one cares anymore.
Well,
They
it's gonna
want
be the
they want
coaching
something
staff.
exciting.
There's gonna be the coaching staff that's gonna make that decision, but they really shot themselves in the foot by saying, "Screw you, defense. We're going offense," because this defense is gonna be. Well, that's the biggest wild card for me. If the defense is good because Nick Wallace is finally calling the plays the way he wants to call them, then fine. But if the defense is bad, like it was last year, your offense isn't going to get enough time to utilize like Jeremiah Love, who you just drafted third overall, because he's not going to have much opportunities to run the ball. And there is also the wild card where this offensive line doesn't turn out the way we wanted to, and it's a little bit of a continuation of last year, possibly by the coaching staff. And then we get another situation where team drafted a running back this time higher, and then he's not effective like we want him to be.
Mm-hmm.
So is that possibility?
I want to give some positives though. I feel like the roster is better than how many games we're going to win. I feel like if we're in the NFC South, we're a 7-win team, maybe 8-win team. Like I feel like the division sucks. I feel like the team's going to win more than what. Like they're going to look better than their wins though. I think they're like if they win 5 or 6 games or 4 games, I think they're going to look like a 7-win team that just lost 1-score games. What do you think about that?
I don't know. It's just a division. It's a division, and plus we have to deal with Myles Garrett now. So
Yeah,
we have
fun.
2 juggernauts to go up against. We have a wild card in the San Francisco 49ers, who, I mean, we trade blows with every single year. But I just feel like this organization is going to be pushed towards want to start Carson Beck, and they're going to want to start him. And if he does play bad, they're going to want him to be like, screw it, fuck it, just go on next year's draft. Just finish
when do you
the job,
think he's going to
Carson.
start? When do you think he's going to start?
Oh, he's going to start week 1 if it continues with this with these with these holdouts, because I know.
Let's be realistic. It's not going. Come on.
Well, it could. I mean,
Jacoby's going to get his pay bump. He'll get his $5 million pay bump or whatever. Like we gotta. They can't run Carson Beck out week 1. They will. Marvin Harrison Jr. will be called a bust. Trey McBride will be called overrated. Michael Wilson will be called a one-hit wonder. There will be no development if Carson Beck's starting week 1.
Well, according to a big majority of the fan base, like if Jacoby starts out there, he's gonna he's a bad quarterback because he went 1-11. There's no other factors, of course. It's just that he's bad. So Carson Beck has college experience. We need to see what he has out there.
Well, when do you think he'll start? Let's just say Jacoby's starting week 1. Let's be realistic.
If Jacoby starts week 1, it's gonna be because it's hard to tell because if they lose, that's the only factor.
It'll be a home game. They're not gonna. I feel like it would be a home game.
Well, the smart idea would be if they are going to give him a start, it would be versus
Washington.
Washington.
That's what Gambo said. He thinks Washington. He thinks week 12.
Los Angeles Chargers, good defense. Seattle Seahawks just freaking won the Super Bowl and whipped our ass last year. San Francisco 49ers looks like they're going to have a bounce back defense because Nick Bosa and Fred Warner should be making their returns and stuff. New York Giants. Possibly them. That's what everybody's talking about.
I think Detroit would be the first realistic start. If the worst case scenario, he's starting week 5 versus Detroit. It's a home game versus a defense that's
not that great.
Average. Yeah, whatever.
They're great tackling defense, though. That's what puts them up there. But
yeah,
they're not great overall. But you do have Aiden Hutchinson, who's a absolute beast of a player. So.
Yeah, I think Washington he starts though. I think that's when we see him go.
That's where it's smart. It should be Washington, but these guys want him week 1. So again, I'll tell these guys go ahead, so that we can go ahead and find out sooner than later. Because what excuse are you guys going to go through? But it's my prediction.
Don't listen
anyway,
to them, please.
Just one. We're going to go because I also do have to get going, but we're going to go through what I'm talking about. When I'm talking about Keitrell Clark, I'm talking about his physicality. Show me a clip of anybody else doing what he does here, which is I look for it, and I am going to actually it's gonna be my next project. I'm gonna look for it with these cornerbacks because you do need somebody who's an able tackler or somebody who's at least gonna be just a freaking physical person that's just gonna come downhill. That's what I'm talking. When you put him at the apex position, or you put him at the slot position, he's got to be willing to come downhill.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is the one where like gets up, he gets excited.
He's playing boundary here, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he's outside 1-on-1.
It's a good play rec.
Just wrecking the plays and whatnot. Of course, you have I believe this was a 3-yard gain. Like a good come out game for him was this one where like I even heard the PHNX guys talking great about him. He's a stud because he just kept doing this on the down by down basis, and then I tried looking for 3-yard gains, 1-yard gains, or like maybe negative for somebody like Garrett Williams. I'm looking at it right now as I speak, and I could actually change the screen just so you guys can see what I'm looking at. Because he's playing that nickel.
Yeah.
And as a nickel, when you're trying to trigger down and come downhill, this is just a basic like over the middle. I saw this play already. This is just a dump off over the middle here. And he makes the tackle, which is great, but still like.
Yeah, it's playing zone. Yeah.
He's playing his zone coverage, but you got 8 yards, 5 yards, 10 yards, 7 yards. Yeah, and I have it set on tackle. So these are all his tackles. 16, 7, 7. Come on, man. Like 14. This was 4 yards. I mean, I guess that's good, but this, yeah, it's on a pass play, which I mean, that's good.
You're not going to find a lot of downhill run stops by Garrett Williams.
And that's what I'm talking about. Like, why didn't you commit at playing at cornerback? Because as a slot cornerback, to truly be like the great defenses that you have out there, they have to come downhill. They have to be part of the run fit. But I mean, we'll continue this project for some other time because I do want to go over the cornerbacks. I feel like that's very important to the success of this team. But obviously, we're 9:38, running pretty late, man. So we're about to hit 3 hours actually.
And 6 minutes.
3 more minutes. So, you got any final thoughts about that video?
No, that was good. I like Marcus's points. Didn't agree with everything, of course, like with the stuff with Buddha, but it was good. It was good. He always does a lot of good long videos for everyone's team. So he's a great football mind on Twitter. So give him a follow for sure if you haven't.
He also and this is something that I forgot to plug in for him, but he also does like a post draft like grade and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I 100% agreed with a lot of what he was saying.
What do you give a? I've seen it because I watched his videos, but if you know off the top of your head,
I don't think like. So I agreed with what he said last year with each player last year with like Cody Simon being like, he was like, dude, he wasn't even one of my top 10 linebackers. I was kind of shocked. He freaking called out Carson Beck and was like, this guy, watch. You know what? Let's only take some minute. Let's go ahead and just show it to the crowd.
Nobody liked the Carson Beck pick.
Yeah, that freaking I remember as soon as they got selected, Brett Coleman was like, that was the worst pick.
That was just
one thing Prize Picks has that
hold on, before we go, I think we all want Carson Beck to succeed. Like if Carson Beck proves me wrong and turns into 2022 Georgia Carson Beck, 5-star recruit, Mr. Florida, like great.
Mm-hmm.
Great. We have a franchise quarterback. But
yeah, I mean we want him. We do. We want him, but the problem is that like the film itself, the grades, not the grades, but like the film itself is just and plus the arm strength.
of spending
There's a lot of
pick
concerns
on a running back with where the Cardinals are at in their regime.
This is
I'm not going to agree with his Jeremiah Love pick.
no. I just want to get to that Carson Beck so we can
Do back up the Jeremiah Love pick with a really good pick at the top of the second round.
Okay, there we go. That's going to be Chase Basantes. Okay, I see the grades are off to the side. Okay, I should have known that.
We still got gaping problems at tackle here in Arizona.
Right here, I think it should be where he starts talking about Carson Beck.
But like I said, we got a long way to go with this offensive line. Chase Basantes is a very nice start. I gave that pick a B, not an A, because, again, it was still a bit early, but was a necessary position for the Cardinals to draft, I think. And there were no tackles at that point worthy of that pick. But then the Carson Beck pick. This is where the Cardinals lose me entirely. The Jeremiah Love pick, you can make a case. There was some ownership meddling in there. He wanted,
Definitely.
people in the seats. He wanted to sell tickets. But at least you got a damn good football player, right? And it's not like crazy to take Jeremiah Love with the third pick in the draft. This, to me, reeks of bad ownership because of how things have transpired with Jacoby Brissett, who wants a little bit more money, and they weren't able to get a deal done. It comes out a few weeks before the draft. Like, he's kind of holding out. They don't know how things are going to go with Jacoby Brissett. And this, to me, reeks of we're going to throw the middle finger to Jacoby Brissett. We're going to take the quarterback in this draft that has, kind of the most starts and the best chance of stepping in and just being a backup for us right away. Maybe not the forever quarterback, right? But this is a middle finger to Jacoby Brissett. And you end up just lighting the 65th pick in the draft that could have been used to improve your offensive line play, your defensive line play, wherever else you wanted to go. I don't see how Carson Beck plays into the plan for this team one bit. I even think there were better quarterbacks that could have been taken, like a Garrett Nussmeier, for example.
No.
But I also don't think you had to draft Beck here. And if you didn't, so what? Go send a 4th-round pick for Will Levis, or there's rumors that maybe Tyson Bagent wants an opportunity. There is such a long list of backup caliber quarterbacks that can be acquired, not with the 65th pick in the draft. This is exactly who Carson Beck is. He is, he's a confident processor of a quarterback who doesn't have a strong arm. He's not particularly mobile. He's going to hit the top of his drop. He's going to fire it. And you're going to get some decent throws out of it, but you're also going to get a lot of interceptable, turnover-worthy play types of throws. He's a guy that bails out of clean pockets and isn't going to maximize your structure. There are just so few pathways from what I saw in Carson Beck with his experience where he's at already and the lack of development to become more of a projectable starter in the NFL. There's just so few pathways for him to be a starter. And at this point in the draft, when you had opportunities to continue building up your infrastructure that desperately needs to be built up, this is, I said it on the live stream, I'll stand by it. This is unacceptable behavior. This is malpractice to the highest degree of running a football team from a team that unfortunately has not had good team building philosophy over the last 10 plus years. Really feels like since Bruce Arians was there and this team felt like they were actually doing good stuff with their front office. It's been a long time. This is one of the worst picks from a process standpoint that I've ever seen. And I know it's dramatic to say that about a pick that has the number 3 next to it. Again, this is the first pick in the 3rd round. This is damn close to being a 2nd round caliber pick. And with all that, I feel confident enough giving this an F-.
Yeah. So guys, that one, like I said, he does post-draft grades as well. And then he's also, I know, actually he makes clips here and there about other type of stuff, but it's mostly grades. And
I think a positive is, though, preseason should be very entertaining.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
But, dude, yeah, I would have rather had Drew Aller. I would have rather traded a pick for Will Levis. Carson Beck was not an inspiring pick.
Look at this.
I turned the draft off when we got him. I was like, yeah, there's no. Just a waste.
Oh man, I just wish the Rams didn't take away our Ty Simpson.
Ty Simpson. Oh my god.
But now seeing the direction it would have gone, they would have been like, you just start him week 1. Like, no, what up? Ty Simpson needs to cook and he needs to bake.
I think Ty would be in. We'd be talking about the Cardinals in a different tone with Ty Simpson, because then we'd be like, whenever Ty Simpson gets in, we could win some games, because I feel like he's gonna be really, like, the Rams are gonna be really good for a long time now.
Yeah.
They just got that. I mean, I'm very high on Ty Simpson. So
okay, all right. Well, wonder who these guys drafted, but like we can't go into it anymore. So, all right, guys. So, like, hope you guys enjoyed that video. Obviously, we want to do more reactions, and we will do more reactions because putting our thoughts out there about what these guys think about our own team. It's pretty interesting. So the next people that we're going to be reacting to are actually these two guys right here, Brett Coleman and EJ Snipe. Yep, Bootleg Football, when they do their yearly, their yearly like teams. They don't do rankings, but they do a different type of. They do a PowerPoint system or something like that. I don't remember what it's called. Power Score. And that's how they'll get their rankings from that. But it's done by division and what you were in your division. You were last in your division. You're going to go first. And then they do their like NFC West predictions where they'll be like, okay, on each team. And then one thing that's really awesome about him, and I want to go through this as well. I don't want to show too much, but they also, if you go into their Patreon and whatnot, they'll do an entire forgot what the term is, some sort of like that gives you detailed like rankings, notes, and everything about your team, what they rank on, like, situational football. What did they run mostly? Did they do a lot of 12? What was their personnel usage? Just awesome stuff like that. It's great stuff, and then it'll show you a passing chart from your quarterback last year.
I'm sure we'll get into that, and then we'll get into when the season starts. We'll get into some stuff. Be fun.
Hell yeah, we're just gonna keep going, man. This is the beginning of our season. I mean, I know we took a long time off, but I mean we're just gonna get it going now. So my big project is over, and we're just working on small projects. But in between here and there, we'll be coming back. Hopefully, we'll be doing this on a consistent basis, Friday or Saturdays, guys. But
I'd love to do my bad, sorry for interrupting. But I'd love to do, like, whenever Carson Beck starts, we do a film breakdown of that game and just watch the all 22 of that. That'd be fun.
Absolutely.
I'm sure people would love that. So we could watch all 22 of his preseason game whenever that happens. So
yeah, we're definitely gonna do that. We're also gonna, like, obviously, because we get whatever we can from training camp. I also want to watch whatever we see from training camp and everything, what the buzz is. Yeah. And, the short clips that they give us, just to see how some players are developing exciting-wise and stuff,
Not the training camp again. I remember last year Walter Mitchell was making, like, the scripted play because Kyler Murray threw a pick to Will Johnson on an outside comeback route. Oh, my God.
Hey, he was throwing interceptions in that freaking Vikings training camp, too, so I don't know.
I just remember that, like, he was, like, making up, like, are they scripting interceptions? Because why would he make this throw? And he was, like, serious about it. I was like, dude, come on.
Yeah. But anyways, guys, I hope you guys have a great night, and it's a Friday night. Be careful out there. If you guys are going to go out, please order Uber. Don't drink and drive. And
call Marcos, he'll come pick you up.
Sure, I'll do that instead of them being out there drunk. But yeah, you guys have a great night. You got any final words, Dylan?
No, that's it. This was fun. I'm excited I'm excited for the preseason to start. Watch some Carson Beck stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Watch the bootleg stuff. Should be fun.
It's gonna be awesome. All right, guys. You guys have a good night, and we'll see you when we see you.
Sir.